Before 2001, I'd see my friend Stephen Copley every couple of weeks, and now he won't even answer my calls. The government got to him too. Think about it. My coworkers, my wife, my friends, everyone calling me crazy after September 11th and wanting nothing to do with me. What are the chances of that?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and we're kicking off another live Sunday edition of the program. You are invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're open for you over at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to hop into one of those, and you will sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. It is Ian here.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
As we jump into some of the news, both of y'all have some immigration-related stories. Richie, let's start with yours. There's some big money involved.
Maybe. Depending on your perspective, but yeah, some money involved.
So what's going on?
So let me give you the source first. CNS News.
That's a conservative right-wing news site.
It definitely is, and I found the article initially through Drudge, which is not liberal either. But the headline, report, taxpayers forking over up to $6,500 per illegal alien.
I wonder what that means, like per everyone that gets processed through the system or per everyone that's just in the United States?
Well, if you're processed through, you're not illegal.
No, what I mean is if they get picked up. I'm sorry, I wasn't clear with that. If they
processed on the way out.
Yeah, if they get snatched up. Like, is that the cost associated with, rejecting them from the United States, or is this
probably not? It's probably those that come in illegally and then get on
various services,
welfare services. Yeah.
Well, of course, many so-called illegal aliens are not actually on welfare at all. So, right. I mean, it's not really fair to say that they're all costing that. So it's actually a certain number of them that are on welfare. So maybe per illegal alien on welfare, it's actually higher. Whereas if you distribute it out over across all so-called illegal aliens, then it would be much lower. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. I did not do the math.
Yeah.
Much of the media attention garnered by the border crisis typically revolves around states that border Mexico, like Arizona and Texas.
I love how it's called a crisis. Again, this is a conservative news site, right?
Right.
So
that's why I wanted to preface with that.
Yeah.
Because obviously I don't share the opinion of the site.
Yeah.
But I found the statistics fascinating when you look at it from, our traditional libertarian perspective.
And right? I've heard like conservative talk show hosts lambasting the liberals for calling everything a crisis, but here they are using the very same terminology
because they're costing all of us Americans $6,500 a piece.
Well, I mean, the problem is the government welfare is costing you that. I mean, they're going to give that money to somebody, and it's not like if all of a sudden, it's not like if tomorrow they build this giant wall and they manage to successfully keep immigrants from coming into the United States, that the welfare problem is going to go away.
But then it'll be Americans on welfare, and that's okay.
Well, that's the thing. That's actually what so-called conservatives believe today.
Yeah. Even the jobs, right? Like they're taking American jobs while they're taking jobs, right? And would Americans have that job if they didn't? Maybe, right? A lot of times with the fruit picking or the vegetable picking, no one takes the job after they
don't want to work out those fields.
Well, that's kind of a ridiculous position, because if I'm hiring for a job and nobody will take it at the offered wage, which is what is actually the case.
Mm-hmm. Well, you gotta raise the wages.
I'm either going to go out of business or I'm going to raise the wages. If I can,
you're probably going to go out of business because people don't want to pay $5 for an apple.
You might go out of business. Are you arguing in favor of like raising the wages for Americans to pick fruit then?
If you can't find people, regardless of whether we should have immigration or illegal immigration or not, it's not a true statement that you can't find someone to do a job. It's a true statement that you can't find someone to do a job
at a given wage.
The price you want to pay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay.
That's true. And people presumably would like to pay less for fruits and vegetables, not more. So if you have to increase the price that you pay your employees to pick those fruits and veggies, you're going to then have to increase the price at the store, and you're then, of course, subject to pretty intense competition from, say, Mexico, where they don't have to pay the same amount of money to their laborers to get the fruit.
Well, then Trump needs to raise tariffs on incoming fruit on Mexico so it keeps up with American jobs and wages, Ian.
So everyone has to pay more.
Everyone.
Well, I mean, then maybe it's not efficient to be growing crops in the U.S.
No,
I
it
don't
wouldn't
know, but it's just that it's just not a true statement. I can't find anybody to do this job. That's almost never accurate.
Okay.
You're correct.
Fair. February report reveals that devastating economic consequences of illegal aliens on a taxpayers as far north as Montana. Illegal aliens cost taxpayers in the 10 states with the fewest immigrants around $454 million per year, which works out to a net tax deficit of $4,000 to $6,500 per illegal, according to the report by the Federation for American Immigration Reform. FAIR.
I'm sure they're a fun bunch.
Probably not, but yeah. But they're the ones conducting again, conservative sources.
I recognize that group name. I think they throw like a talk show conference thing in D.C. every year where all the right-wing, conservative frothing at the mouth talk show hosts show up, and they all talk about how much they hate immigration and things like that for however many days it is. It sounds just awful.
I'm glad you don't go.
Yeah.
In many ways, the influx of immigrants into less populous areas of the country has an even greater impact on longtime residents than it does in larger and more urban areas, FAIR President Dan Stein said in the report's news release. These areas have neither the tax base nor the economic and social infrastructure to accommodate the needs of the growing number of immigrants taking up residence. FAIR examined migration to Alaska, Maine, Mississippi, Montana, New Hampshire, that's us, North Dakota, South Dakota, Vermont, West Virginia, and Wyoming in its study, and found that 88,000 out of the 415,000 foreign-born residents in these states are illegal aliens, or 21%. Around 35,000 others are citizen children of illegal aliens.
So it was 88,000 out of 400-some thousand?
Right.
Is
So
that right? Okay.
of the foreign-born residents in those states that I listed off, 21% were illegal aliens, and then another, I guess, 10 or so percent, a little less than 10%, 9%, are citizen children of illegal aliens.
Got it.
So overrunning these small towns. Many local officials tout immigration, including illegal immigration, as a remedy to economic stagnation. However, as this report reveals, the reality is precisely the opposite. Stein continues.
Sure.
That's why I said the numbers are fascinating. Illegal immigration in particular drives down wages and inhibits job opportunities for legal residents while bringing more low-skilled, low-wage workers to these states.
How insulting. I mean, the suggestion is that because you're an illegal immigrant, you're lower skill. I mean, that's not true necessarily.
It pretty much is, because if you have skills, you can get in legally, or you have skills to get the money to get in legally.
You think so? It's not that easy to do that. It's like
right. But if you
difficult.
have skills,
Foreign
you can
work
hire
visas.
someone to get you in legally. So it's almost necessarily true that that's the case.
I don't know if I buy that. I mean, there's a lot of folks who don't want to jump through the insane paperwork.
You can pay your way in.
And the insane fees.
Right. So if you have skills, you will presumably have money.
You can have
and
skills
can buy your way in, and will be legal.
And
I don't know if that follows.
Yeah, and there's also limitations on the number of people that can come in. So it's not like you can just lay down a bunch of cash and get in here.
That's not true.
There are limits on the numbers of people that they will allow to come from every given country on the planet.
Well, now you're just talking about like bribing officials.
There are legal ways to bribe officials. I think we all know this.
Sure.
You can come in as a job creator business owner. You have to pay, I think it's like 10 people X amount for however many years it is. You don't have to be profitable. You just have to employ that many people. And then congratulations, you have legal status.
Just because you're skilled, like you're a skilled accountant, for instance, you have the potential to make a decent amount of money doing accounting work. But, if you're a skilled concrete technician or whatever the term is for that, like how to lay down some concrete in a skilled manner, because there's an art to it, right? Like you got to be able to do it the proper way. It's got to be graded appropriately, and there's all this technical skill involved in doing a good job of that, they may not be able to make as much money as you. And just because they're skilled doesn't mean they're skilled in handling their money, right? Like, so they may be able to do a good job at work, but they may drink their profits.
These things are supporting your position.
My position is that just because you have skills doesn't mean that you just have an easy path to move to the United States through the legal immigration system. 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. It's incredibly arduous to get through the legal system here. This is Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge Wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition of the program here, where we'll take your calls and thoughts about whatever is on your mind. You can join us. The toll-free line is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. LibertyCon is coming up in April 3rd through the 5th. We will be broadcasting from the event, so look forward to seeing you there. I've never been to a LibertyCon before. I hear they are pretty great events. They're going to have some great speakers like John Mackey, the Whole Foods CEO. He'll be speaking on conscious capitalism. And there will be over 70 pro-liberty organizations in attendance. So you want to do some networking? This is going to be the place to do that. Plus, you'll get to see some cool debates. I'll tell you more about those coming up a little bit later. LibertyCon.com, you can use code FTL. You'll save $10. And that's actually a significant chunk of the ticket price, because these tickets are less than $100 for the regular ticket. And this is a 3-day-long convention in a major city. So to be able to get a convention ticket,
it's very affordable for
under $100 is incredible. So you knock 10 more bucks off by using code FTL, like Free Talk Live. And if you're a student, you get an even deeper discount on student tickets. They really want young people to attend this thing. There's even, I believe, travel scholarships available. As I understand it, that means they'll actually pay for you to get there, which is pretty cool if you're a student. LibertyCon.com. It's April 3rd through the 5th in D.C. There's even discounted hotel rooms for everybody that's attending the event, because it's always best to stay in the hotel because it's just, it's convenient. That way you roll out of bed, walk downstairs, and you're at the convention.
Yeah. And network with the other people staying in the hotel.
Exactly. After hours, things like that. Yeah. LibertyCon.com, April 3rd through the 5th. All right. So let's go to your phone calls and thoughts. You can bring up what you want. We've been talking about immigration. There's more to say about that on the way here. But let's go first to Robert. He's in Charleston, South Carolina, listening to WTMA. Go ahead, Robert.
Yes, sir. I've immigrated twice to foreign countries, and I just want to say, if you can get the company for which you're working to transfer you to that country so that you can get a chance to continue working for them in the foreign environment for maybe a year or so, you can establish business relationships, banking relationships, personal relationships, and if you stay there for 20 years, you should have enough good connections, even people who love you, whereby you can really, really make tremendous strides and even leave your past way in the background. If people can't hear your accent that you come from a foreign country, they might think you come from a neighboring country if it's slightly off. And that'll give you a chance, with those connections that you've established over that period of time, to get all kinds of good contracts, to get people in the government to let you know where the work might be, and to even help you to arrange business relationships and get business meetings with the people even in the governments that are in charge. Even if the governments try to stop you from getting information, you can have friends that will drop that stuff right in your lap if you have a good relationship with them, if you're a close personal relationship, just like it can be done any place in the world, and you can be extremely successful over that period of time.
So all you have to do is get a job with a multinational corporation that lets you transfer between countries.
Which may be harder than you think, but it's possible for some people.
Sure.
And so what you're talking about doing is what, as I understand it, is called a work visa, where if you have, a job waiting for you at this company in another country or in the United States, if you're coming from outside of the United States, that is one way to kind of get in for some amount of time. However, in the United States at least, which is not a particularly immigrant-friendly country, there are limits on the numbers of work visas that will be issued. Now, I don't know exactly in which category they limit. I don't know if it's limited per type of industry or per from which country they're coming or whatever, but there are caps on the maximum number. In fact, that's one of the points that the folks down at the Crypto Frontier in the Mariana Islands have pointed out, is that the Marianas actually have a separate set of rules for work visas where there's no caps.
Nice.
So they can take on as many workers as they need to from other countries, which is a really cool thing to be able to do.
Which will depress wages of the local.
Good. Bring the wages down. I mean, that was being this conservative news site that you brought in here tonight, Richie, was saying that that's a bad thing, but that's actually a good thing. If you bring wages down, that means costs go down. You can lower your prices to your customers. Pass on the savings.
There you go.
Go ahead, Robert.
If you have a skill which is very much in demand, you don't even have to worry about lowering your rates. As a matter of fact, I was one of the best that they had, and they were very sorry to see me go. And they paid me very, very well.
Yeah, that's true. If you are in high demand, you won't have to lower your rates. There's no doubt about that. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Unless, of course, the demand results in a larger supply of workers who also are highly skilled,
Right.
Who may actually, provide rate competition, and then you might have to lower your rates if you want to stay in the same business.
So some of the wording for work visas in the United States say something to the effect of this person has unique skills to the job that cannot be offered elsewhere. Right. So if an American can do the job, then you don't get the work visa.
I see.
So you have to offer something that an American could not offer otherwise in order to get it. In some cases, and I'm sure there's workarounds
Not
and
a surprise.
political slidings.
In our immigration class in law school, they taught us how to phrase job descriptions so that you could not offer somebody, but you could get somebody into a work visa.
Right, because it would be unique, like their perspective or what they bring to the table is unique to them and their situation that wouldn't take away the job from an American.
Let's go to Jerome. He's in Charleston, also South Carolina, listening to WTMA. Go ahead, Jerome.
Hey, I just want to say I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to speak because there's a lot of people here in Charleston that don't want me talking to them because they're afraid of me because they only want to hear one side of the story, and that's their side, okay? They only want to hear Republicans. But I just wanted to talk about how this lie that Trump kept going for years about President Obama wasn't born in this country, and he harassed the man to the point that the man got his birth certificate from Hawaii and got on national television. They interrupted regular programming for him to show that he's a naturalized citizen. Because Trump's so dumb, he doesn't know that Hawaii is one of the 50 states, okay? And Puerto Rico is a territory. So that's how stupid we got going in the White House, okay? The guy's got a college degree, allegedly, but yet he doesn't know that being born in Hawaii, you're an American citizen, too. So what kind of fool these people are supporting in this party, okay?
What about
That's
the
my
argument
problem.
that
They got
Obama
a
went to
fool.
college as a foreign student, though?
It's all a lie. And Trump kept that thing going for years. And a lot of these people like that Dumbo Limbaugh and Calamity, they ran with that for years about him until the man got fired. He got sick of it. And he got on national television. He said, here's my certificate. Now look at it. It's a government document. It's not a forgery.
To me, this whole thing over where Obama was born is the most pointless debate to have. The conservatives acting like this means something. Oh my God, he was born in Kenya. Oh my God, he's not a real citizen.
If you're a constitutionalist, it's absolutely relevant, though.
But it's not relevant because what matters is what people do. And Obama and Trump and the rest of these presidents are people who are scum. I mean, they use violence to threaten the lives of innocent people. They murder innocent people, using the military in Middle Eastern countries. So Obama, even if he was born in Kenya, he didn't do anything significantly different than George W. Bush did in his term. But yet that's all the conservatives care about is where his piece of paper says he's from.
Because we want an American doing those things, not a Kenyan.
We need an American committing murder. Thanks for the call tonight, Jerome. I appreciate it. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. You can join us here on the radio. We'll talk more about immigration coming up as well. 855-450-3733. You can join us. It's the live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live.
Don't miss this year's LibertyCon with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO John Mackey, Congressman Justin Amash, and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith. Attend 2 spectacular debates. Is government necessary? And does capitalism require government intervention? Network with over 70 pro-liberty organizations. This and a whole lot more. April the 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. Visit LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on LibertyCon.com. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
A report finds it's not okay to just start talking to people you don't know, and a monstrosity is created in the Frito-Lay laboratory. This is the Onion Week in Review. Local newborn Nathan Jameson surprised the world earlier this morning by irrevocably losing all faith in humanity after just 6 days. Though he's not yet developed the capacity for speech, spokespeople for the 6-day-old baby have confirmed he already knows that humans cannot be trusted and that most people lack self-awareness about their own destructive tendencies.
While most people need around 30 or 40 years to truly understand that the vast majority of humanity is shallow and irredeemable, baby Nathan's convinced that he has seen all that he needs to see. People have been nice and even brought him toys and presents. But the fact is, Nathan knows they're all full of shit.
And in this week's Science Report, botanists discover trees are all slowly trying to strangle each other. In other news, a fun-loving turtle is all business when it comes to feeding time, and a partygoer rolls a couple of fat burritos to pass around.
This is the Onion News Network.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Sunday edition of the show. You may join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds. Divvy says you'll be able to send money around the globe in only a swipe and instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat currency like the dollar right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. There's no need to wait, though, as Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes, allowing anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. When the new Divvy wallet launches because of Divvy's relationship with Western Union, Divvy will be in 200 countries, including the United States. You can learn more at divvyproject.org. divvyproject.org. As we continue, we've been discussing immigration here tonight. You're welcome to weigh in. You can also bring up anything that you want. That is the point here of Free Talk Live. The toll-free number for you is 855-450, free like freedom, or hop into our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. We go first to Mike in Norfolk, Virginia, listening to WNIS. Hello, Mike.
Hello.
Mike. Hey, you're on the air.
All right, thank you. I just have a question.
Sure.
For clarification. A few minutes ago, you were talking about with someone they were talking about, and you had mentioned something about lowering wages, which would then lower the cost of products.
It could, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Services as well.
Okay, and product services. just to clarify, do you mean if just one company lowered their wages, that would then lower the prices of other things?
Not necessarily of other things, but if, for instance, the cost in any given business, the highest costs you're going to pay are labor. The bulk of the costs in any business, whether it be a service-oriented business or manufacturing or whatever, it's going to be labor. So if you can reduce the cost of labor, then your overall costs go down, and you could pass on the savings in the form of lower costs of your product, your end product or service.
Gives you price advantage over your competition.
But that's the price theory of value, though, and it's not accurate.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Yeah, so just because your costs are lower doesn't mean that you're going to lower your prices.
It doesn't necessarily mean that, but it means you can. And if I'm in competition with other people and my costs go down, if I can cut my costs by a third or something like that, or a quarter or whatever, then that means that I can cut my costs at the end retail product or whatever.
But there are industries that sell at high profit margins.
Sure, there absolutely are.
You're missing my point.
Yeah,
you're missing my point. My point is this: is in order for something like that to work, when the cost of living, the cost of rent, the cost of whatever, wouldn't all companies across the board have to do that in order for that to work? Because if you have 100 companies, and only one company does it, that doesn't work.
I see what you're saying. You're saying that the workers need to, pay the rent or whatever, and I get that. But yeah, if we didn't have pesky things like the minimum wage, for instance, that could artificially increase wages. Now, there are, of course, a lot of companies that pay much greater than the minimum wage, and that's because of competition for labor. But if there was the freedom to contract and actually say, I'm willing to work for $3 an hour because of whatever circumstance, if I were free to do that, if people, if overall there was a drive down on wages, then yeah, I think you would see prices coming down. But yeah, certainly.
It could cascade, definitely.
It is possible.
Here's what I believe, and I think that the track record proves this. The reason why the United States is the wealthiest country in the world is because of the free market.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Capitalism.
Well, okay, but unfortunately we don't have a free market, okay? We have a market that is, say, less burdened by regulation than some other markets on the planet. We have a market that may have more freedom in it than other markets on the planet, but it's not a free market. Any place where you have to go and ask permission to do something, you don't have freedom. And in most places in the United States, there's a bunch of bureaucrats around with their hands out demanding your money and your obedience in order for you to be able to have a business. So I love the idea of the free market, and I fully support it. Unfortunately, we don't have one. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Well, here, I'll leave this thought with you to answer your question. Someone told me sometime, and I agree with it, told me this one time, and I agree with it. There is never a shortage of money, only a shortage of ideas. Someone came up with the idea to have your radio show. Mm-hmm. Everything that has ever existed as far as, free market capitalism or inventing that particular widget came from an idea.
That's right.
And so if you have an idea about something that could work, then, I say more power to you. Let's see if that works.
Absolutely.
And so the free market will determine if that item or widget is successful.
You are absolutely right. If we actually had a free market, that would be true.
In the U.S., that is generally true. There are
no,
more
it's not.
industries
Not if
where
there's a bunch of bureaucrats that stand in your way.
Right. There are industries where that's more true than not true.
Sure. I mean, look, I totally agree with you, Mike. If there were an actual free market where if you had an idea, you could just go and do that thing without having to beg permission from some government bureaucracy, some bunch of unaccountable scumbag bureaucrats who think they know how to run your business and run your life, are going to stand in your way and demand that you pay them a bunch of fees and fines plans and licensing and hoop jumping and ridiculous, all kinds of rules that they've just arbitrarily created to make sure that whatever excuse they put in front of you, if you could actually just go ahead and create your idea without having to beg for permission, then yeah, that would absolutely be true. But unfortunately, you've got these bureaucracies that make those who are the idea people frustrated because they can't just do the things that they want to do. They can't just start a business without having to jump through hoops and fill out paperwork. And then in a lot of cases, they'll be denied.
And the wages would be determined in the marketplace as well.
Yeah, as they should be.
Pushed up and pushed down.
So I totally agree with you, Mike.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
About the bureaucracy of things. That's been that way for a very long time.
Sure.
However, there's still people coming up with great ideas and being successful.
Absolutely.
So
I don't think we disagree on anything so far.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Just imagine how much better it would be, though, if we didn't have this government standing in the way of all these people with the great ideas.
I understand what you're saying, but that's not going to stop me from coming up with an idea.
I'm not saying it should stop you.
Well, yeah, so basically we have a state that's kind of holding everything back, but you still have to take personal responsibility of like, okay, even in the presence of this gang, I'm still going to succeed because I can do XYZ when I should be able to do XYZAB.
I feel like you're expecting some pushback from us, and we're not going
to disagree. I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying. I think you're absolutely right on.
Well, the young lady that just spoke, I think she hit the nail on the head for me. And yeah, you got to work at it. There's no such thing as something for nothing.
Right. But unfortunately, the reality of it is there are a certain group of people out there. And if you've got the drive to see something through, where there's a will, there's a way for the most part, unless, of course, you want to get into the gun business, in which case it doesn't matter what kind of will you have. The government bureaucrats will stand in your way.
3D printing, man.
They will stop you from, look what they did to Cody Wilson.
Well, they didn't get him on the gun thing, though.
But look what they did to him.
You're correct.
Don't frequent backdoor type websites.
But wait a minute. Even if he hadn't done that, they still came after him with lawsuits. They tried to prohibit him from simply publishing the gun plans that he came out with. He had to hire hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of attorneys to be able to fight that. My point is, if you've got $1 million, you can grease the wheels a lot better than somebody who's trying to work their way up through the ranks, starting from zero. If you don't have money, then you basically can't start your own business in the United States because the bureaucracy wants a bunch of money out of you. And it costs money to jump through their regulatory hoops. Mike, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate hearing from you. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. So there's a lot of folks who would like to start their own business, but they don't even know how. And if they try to start it, then the government stands in their way and they get flummoxed and they quit and they just get a job.
You've been hearing Dr. Wallach talking about 90 essential nutrients, keeping the body healthy. GCNteam.com now has Beyond Tangy Tangerine tablets, 60 plant-derived minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, packed in a powerful tablet. But that's not it. 160,000 auric points, a knockout punch to free radicals. Call 877-878-4203 or go to GCNteam.com. That's 877-878-4203.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want. Our toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's the live Sunday edition of the program, and joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian. Oh, sorry, Richie. Try that again.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
Yes. All right, so we're here. We'll take your calls about anything. We've been talking about immigration and got into the question of running a business in the United States with our last caller and how, there's more freedom to open up a business in the U.S. than a lot of places in the world.
Some states are easier than others as well.
Yeah, New Hampshire, unless you're in a specifically regulated industry, you don't have to do much.
As far as like starting a business?
Yeah, whereas in places like Louisiana, you need a specific license to sell cut flowers. So, pick your spectrum of insanity.
There's definitely more or less regulatory structures in different states. There's no doubt. And from country to country, there's differences. I remember years ago, and it's probably been most of 2 decades since this happened, but John Stossel, great libertarian talk guy on at one time was on ABC News. This was back when he was on ABC. He did a special where he wanted to test out how hard it was to open a business in different countries.
Yep.
And you've seen this one. Okay. Yeah. So if I recall correctly, he went to like India, I think, and the United States, of course. And I believe the other one was either Hong Kong or Singapore.
I think it was, I remember Hong Kong.
Yeah, I think it was Hong Kong. I think it was Hong Kong. But Hong Kong or Singapore both are the 2 top economic freedom countries on the planet. And I know Hong Kong's not really a country, but regardless, it's separate from China in a lot of different ways. And it was actually easiest for him to open a business in Hong Kong, where all he had to do was like fill out one piece of paper and sign it. And I don't know if there was even a fee involved. That was it. You're ready to go. Whereas in the United States, there was all kinds of hoop jumping, and in India there was even worse hoop jumping, like insane levels, to where he couldn't even get it started in India because it like had to go in front of the legislature for approval or something ridiculous like
What a
that.
nightmare.
So yeah, there's definitely different levels of this, and the United States is not the most free when it comes to getting a business started. I wish it were, but it's not. And for as you were saying previously, if you've got money, yeah, you can grease the wheels. You can buy the licenses. You can pay the attorneys that you need to pay to be able to look over all the various different tomes of information and laws to make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and that you can go into business.
Did you guys cover the handyman story?
Where?
I forget where it was, but it was a sting operation.
Oh, we didn't cover it, but I definitely have that in my show prep.
I was going to bring that up because those are just independent contractors, right, looking to run their own business.
Yeah.
And doing so effectively until they get, caught up by
a sting operation that busted more than 100 people in Hillsborough County. That's the Tampa area in Florida for unlicensed contracting. So let's talk about that too, because it's relevant here, and then we can get back into immigration because it all ties in together.
But you have skilled workers, right? Like they're contractors; they can do whatever small home repairs that you have available. They say, "Hey, I'm offering this service." You offer them the money, they do the work.
Done deal.
Done deal.
Everybody's happy.
Should be.
Except for the people who've got licenses who are mad that there's other people out there doing the same work for less because they didn't have all the license costs to
How
overcome.
dare they in the free country of the United States?
Yeah, so I mean, we'll get into the details on that story. I'm glad you brought it up because it's one of those ones that we definitely need to cover here on Free Talk Live. But my point here is, if you don't have the money to hire an attorney, if you don't have the money to pay the fees and the fines and the licensing nonsense,
take the hours of classes,
to go through the mandatory classes that you may have nothing, that no need for whatsoever, just all these dumb arbitrary rules being placed upon you by these government bureaucrats, and then you're screwed. Because you don't have the ability to start your own business. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to. Just because you don't have enough money doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to strike out on your own, start small, and create something from the ground floor and build small and build slowly or whatever.
Okay, so I kind of don't want anybody listening to decide to go get a W-2 job based on this conversation. It depends on what industry you want to enter, and it depends on what state you live in.
Sure.
Some states, under the guise of safety, regulate certain industries, and you can pretty much do whatever you want. In other industries, some states are completely insane, some states are in between.
Yes,
so
your mileage may vary, and you should do some research.
Wherever you're living, even if you don't have startup capital or just don't want to pay the ridiculous, paying off the state, basically, to be able to open in the industry you want, there is some industry that you can get into and start up small and do on the side and build up.
It may not be the one you want, just because there's some industries.
and that's wrong. All of this is wrong, and we should just get rid of the state.
No, you're right.
But
people should do their research and check this out, but they shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to go and figure out, all right, how do I do this legally? I need to go and do a bunch of research and spend hours and hours and hours. If you can't afford an attorney to tell you how to do it.
I would say just do it anyway.
Well, that's tend to be how I run my life. Is better to ask forgiveness than ask permission. But even in the case of what you're saying, Melanie, let's say you're talking about a business that's mostly or completely unregulated in any given state. Just because that's true doesn't mean that they aren't going to regulate where you can do that business. So, for instance, you can't in a lot of places open up a home-based business, even though that would be the lowest cost way of doing things, because then you don't have to go and get a storefront or rent some sort of industrial space.
Because it's not zoned for commercial.
That's right. Now in New Hampshire, there's usually more flexibility to do things like home-based businesses.
In New Hampshire, as long as you're not creating excessive
noise or
not excessive
traffic,
parking issues, then they leave. You don't have to do anything special.
That's true, and it's even true here in Keene, which is one of the more regulated, lefty cities in New Hampshire. But again, that's not true in a lot of cities where there's just absolutely no home-based businesses allowed whatsoever. You just can't do it. You need to go and get go to the commercial zone and pay more, which means again you have to have money in order to get into.
Talk to the town council, get permission from those guys.
Yeah.
So the situation is horrendous. I'm not disputing that, but what I am saying is, on an individual level, I think that it would behoove you to start wherever you need to start to in order to get away from the being
W-2
tied to a corporation.
Yeah, I'm with Richie on this. Like, better to ask forgiveness than to ask permission. But the problem is, once you get big enough, they're gonna come after you. As soon as you get, there's always these stories in the news media that, like the classic example of the hair braiding lady who, she's been braiding hair for however many years. She learned it from her grandmother who, taught it to her mother and so on and so forth. It's been passed down the line, and she's been successfully doing like African hair braiding in her home and has had all these customers. Well, then the news media finds out about it and they make one of those cool stories about, hey, look at this lady. She's a success. She's got a business. And
brought her up by her bootstraps and look at her go now.
And it's a wonderful like human interest story of a successful small business. And then the government bureaucrats see it and they're like, wait a minute, she's not on file with us. We need to go and talk to this lady. And then they ruin her life, destroy her business, and tell her that she can't do this because she's in her home and she doesn't have a home-based business license or whatever permission slip she needs to do that. But on top of that, she needs to have a hair braider's license, which, of course, they don't actually teach anything about African hair braiding in the 1,000 hours of beauty school that you have to go through to be able to get the hair braider's license from the state. And they're like, you got to do all this stuff or else we're going to put you in jail.
All I want to do is braid hair, man.
Right, and she was braiding hair, and everything was totally fine. So that's what people have to deal with, and that's why people, when they see all these dumb government rules, they're just like, you know what? I'll just keep the job.
Whenever people were to dissuade me from starting my own business or doing my own thing, right? Oh no, you got to get that license, you got to do this thing, you got to jump through that hoop. I'm like, no, I don't. Number one, no, I don't. Yep. I'm just going to do it. And they go like, well, they're going to come after me. Like, well, we'll cross that bridge when we
come to it,
right? Let me make some money on the side. Let me build up a war chest so that if and when they do come after me, I'll have some background of what I'm doing with the business and also some finances to help defend myself.
I wish more people had that attitude, but they're understandably frightened to death of these murderous state agents who can, just destroy your life in an instant if that's what they want to do. Let's go to Duncan. He's in Missouri listening to KWTO in, I believe, the Springfield area. Go ahead, Duncan.
So, been listening to your conversation.
Thanks.
Free markets only work if people abide by the laws that are in place, whether you think they're ignorant or not.
What do you mean by that? How could it be a free market if there's a bunch of laws in the way?
Government's got to regulate the free market.
So I ran a dairy since I graduated high school in 1987. We sold out in 2015.
Okay.
My wife and I, we put about $200,000 in a new dairy structure. The industry was evolving faster than I anticipated, but I really feel like illegal immigrants that came in and did the mundane, bring the cows in, wash the udders, attach the units, just the basic steps of milking cows, were partially responsible for taking the dairy dream away from our rural community.
I want to know more about that. If you can hang on, Duncan, I'll give you a chance to explain it better. Coming up, it's Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at marketfreetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. Marketfreetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, marketfreetalklive.com.
Do you like going to your job every day? Can you set your own schedule and take long vacations whenever you want? Are you free to do whatever you want in your dating or sex life? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Watch our free on-demand replay training with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,567, silver at $17.83, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,730. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, on Tuesday, a House committee approved a bill to put a 3-year ban or moratorium on the use of facial recognition for surveillance or any other purposes by the state and its political subdivisions. Passage into law would represent an important first step towards protecting privacy and rejecting the national surveillance state. Activist Post reports a coalition of 3 Democrats introduced House Bill 2856 January 27th. The legislation would put a 3-year ban on the use of facial recognition by government in Washington state. If passed into law, state and local government agencies would be prohibited from obtaining, retaining, requesting, accessing, or using any facial recognition technology or any information obtained from or by use of facial recognition technology. Additionally, any information obtained from or by the use of facial recognition would be barred from being used as evidence in any trial or other proceeding before a court or other authority subject to the jurisdiction of Washington. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. At the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, world leaders addressed various ways to combat climate change and help the environment. It was there the U.S. President Donald Trump committed to the Trillion Trees Initiative. The Mind Unleashed reports a bill is currently being drafted by Representative Bruce Westerman, a Republican from Arkansas, that would set in stone the commitment to the planting of billions of trees annually. If the legislation passes, the U.S. will plant 3.3 billion trees each year over the next 30 years. Over the last few years, tree planting initiatives have increased across the world. From Ireland pledging to plant 440 million trees over the next 20 years, to Ethiopia breaking the world record by planting 350 million trees in a mere 12 hours. Chemists working with the U.S. Army are developing new uniforms that can quickly break down toxic substances, protecting troops from bioweapons, according to a report from Wired. Omar Farah's lab at Northwestern University is testing a fabric that can neutralize nerve agents. The new fabric is part of a collaborative effort between the college and the Army, which might take upwards of a decade to test and then commission as the next-generation battle uniform. Activist Post reports the fabric can destroy nerve agents VX, Soman, and Sarin. The dangerous chemicals can be made in a biosafety level 4 laboratory, like the one found in Wuhan, China. Wired noted that the Army already has uniforms to protect troops from nerve agents, but there are no uniforms that can destroy the toxins. Jared DaCosta, a researcher with the Army who is not involved with the project, said the military has been searching for uniforms that can shield troops from bioweapons and at the same time destroy the chemicals. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
If you live in Williamsburg, chances are good you've seen them. Giant piles of beard hair rotting in the streets. Don't worry, it just means hipster molting season is here again. Experts say the husks of dead beards don't pose a threat to public safety and are just part of the natural life cycle of these strange organisms.
Once a year, all at the same time, every 20-something urban male sheds his ironic beard to make room for larger, more fanciful facial hair. They need the beards. They're a tough exoskeleton that protects these young people from the non-whimsical realities of life.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says it's the largest molting season on record. In Brooklyn, sanitation crews are working overtime to clean up the loose whiskers the exuviating males have left behind. The affected youth's molting season comes right before their mating season, when the males use their lush beards to impress the local hordes of burlesque females.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're kicking off the second hour here of the live Sunday edition. Open phones, as always, at 855-450 free like freedom. We've been talking about immigration, which led to a discussion about the supposed free market.
Free market capitalism at its best.
We'd all like to see the free market. And I don't use the word capitalism along with the free market. Like, hey, I'm not opposed to people that want to do capitalism, but if somebody wants to have a commune in the free market, they should be free to do that too. I wouldn't never want to impose a particular system on anybody else. In my opinion, the free market is just leaving people alone. Letting people make their own choices for themselves and their property with, the idea of property rights, I think, respected. Sure. But beyond the basic concept of property rights, the free market is just letting people be and not having a bunch of regulations imposed by total strangers, which is what the government gang is. It's just a bunch of people, for the most part, that you don't know. I mean, if you're in a super small town, then you probably do know them. But either way, I don't want them telling me what to do. They don't know my business, and they don't deserve to know what I'm doing. So those are some of the things we've been discussing here tonight. With you in the studio, it's Ian.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
John is in Nebraska. He was on the line with us. Actually, sorry, not John. We're getting to John. Duncan in Missouri was on the line with us, and he had some comments listening to KWTO in Springfield. You were calling about your
dairy farm being put out of business.
Right, your frustrations in the dairy farming business. Go ahead. I wanted you to have a chance to really kind of explain what you were saying.
Well, and I consider myself a success. I got to keep my farm and my wife, and most dairy farmers don't that are smaller. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the bigger dairies, and I love them, they're family owned, but they're not afraid to go and borrow to milk 20,000 cows. We're size and scale and efficiency. You just make that model bigger. When we were milking 100 cows, it just didn't fit into the system.
Yeah, well, borrowing is part of it, too. I mean, you can incur some debt if you think it's going to pay off later. It's just a risk.
Well, it's true, but I'm not there's only so much your family unit or your wife can do and that I can do. And there's more to milking there's more to a dairy than just milking cows. It's managing feed, managing the land, managing all the agencies, bureaucracies, milk quality, calf raising, breeding. I mean, it's not what you think it is. It's crazy. But my point on the immigration is what allowed those bigger dairies to have the labor force that they needed was, in a big part, illegal immigrants. And I get those facts. I had a good friend who started a soap business, and we're not that far from western Kansas where the big dairies are. He would actually go to the farms and try to peddle his soap.
All right, you do understand that the free market would allow for those big dairy farms to hire workers who are now considered illegal immigrants anyway, right?
Well, the thing about it is, if they're not documented workers, then they're driving my labor, what I do as a profession. If they're hiring illegal workers,
right,
then they're making my time worth less.
But if it's a free market,
I don't think he's asking for a free market, is he? I don't think he's supporting a free market.
Well, the first thing he said was the free market works with if you follow the laws. That was his initial statement.
Absolutely.
Which is contradictory because there are no, if you have a free market, there aren't a bunch of laws standing in your way.
That's what I'm pointing out.
Yeah.
Well, but my point is maybe we don't have a free market, but the dairy operators, the dairy owners knowingly hired people to do their tasks on the farm with illegal workers.
Good.
And
Good for them.
drove me out of business.
Sorry you weren't able to compete.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but maybe you should have hired some of them yourself. I don't know.
That's not, and I had the chance to do that, but I felt like as an American citizen, I'm not going to break the laws.
I see. Yeah. So you were afraid of the government, possibly destroying your life and killing you and your family. It's understandable.
Someone has to stand up eventually and say, no, this isn't working. And I took.
Well, but it's working for the big dairy farms. It just wasn't
there's
working
also
for
a
you.
lot of, as I understand it, and I'm not in the business, so this is me from the outside having heard things about it. You did mention the regulatory bureaucracies, that there's a lot of hoop jumping to deal with in order to be in the dairy business. And as I understand it, there's also, are there not subsidies towards some of these bigger farmers from the government as well?
There are. I'm personally against subsidies.
Me too.
But here's the deal: if you don't take that money and it's still on the table, and
Right.
you don't bring it into your county and to your family,
Someone will.
that's the way. But at the end of the journey, I started a farmstead creamery, and you talked about state bureaucracy, and I thought jumping through all those hoops was my biggest problem when I was getting my cheese plant and my yogurt plant up and going. And then I figured out after I got that done, and they just kept throwing stuff at me, and I got that done, my biggest problem was the market. We are so advanced, and consumers do not give folks a second chance. If your product isn't spot on day one, minute one, you're done.
Yeah.
And that
I kind of wish that were true in more industries.
Well,
hey, I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for the call, Duncan. I appreciate hearing from you. And thanks for the inside scoop there into your business. And as he was pointing out there, he put a tremendous amount of effort into jumping through all these regulatory hoops.
Of course.
And God knows how much money in order to jump through those hoops to get his cheese or whatever business, yogurt business it was, off the ground. And then after you've then thrown in a ton of money and time into all these regulatory compliance issues, then you've got to actually do the business, right? Then you've got to put the product out. Then you've got to compete with the competitors, and you're already behind the ball by $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, whatever the various different costs were. And as he's pointing out, then if you're not ready to go and have the best product available right out the gate, then it's tough competition.
Yeah.
So that sucks. And it's because of the government that made it so that he couldn't spend that. I'm just picking a number out of thin air, right?
Sure.
Let's say it was $300,000 just in regulatory compliance costs. That's money that he couldn't spend on his actual business, on doing things that would make his product better or service better and more competitive. Sad.
It is sad, but his initial statement prior to the break was that the free market needed rules and regulations.
And that is false. That is not a free market.
Correct.
Yeah.
But then he was, on one side of the mouth, he was arguing in favor of those when they were going to prevent illegal immigrants from coming in and working for his competitors. And on the other side of his mouth, arguing against them because it was preventing him from moving on with his business.
Yeah, that
is. If you're going to advocate for it, take the good with the bad, man.
Yeah, that's a great point, Richie. And I think it deserves further study here. The idea that Americans are incredibly unprincipled when it comes to freedom. They can understand how, if they're in business, how regulations hurt their business. They can see it because they're experiencing it. They're feeling it. They know how deleterious those things can be, how time-wasting they are, time-consuming, money, resource-consuming. And they can see that that's money and time they could spend elsewhere, but they can't because there's men with guns who will show up and, threaten their lives if they don't jump through the hoops. But at the same time, they also want those regulations to exist for all their competition and for everybody else in every other business. So they want to be free from the regulations themselves, but they don't want the regulations to go away because they are convinced that they're somehow benefiting from them.
Well, and that's when the cronyism comes in, when you get big enough as an organization to be able to bear the cost of the burden. You write the regulations that burdens your competitors even more.
Yeah, it's sick. It's a sickness, and people need to let it go. I mean, they need to realize that it's not helping people.
I just want the consistency.
Yeah.
Right? Either for it or you're against it based on principles of the matter.
So, yeah, if you're against regulations for yourself, and you should be, go ahead and just be against regulations for everyone else, including your competition. Be against regulations and be against taxes across the board because we'll all benefit from that. And, of course, the fearmongers will come and say, but people will do bad things, but dangerous products, dangerous services. We need regulations to protect the consumers.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. But the reality of it is that regulations actually protect the people who've been in business the longest, the people who have the most political connections in the world of politics, and that's usually not you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves. And as far as protecting consumers, I say leave that to the marketplace. The fact is, businesses do not have an incentive to hurt their customers. And with competition, you'll see safety and things like that improve. More coming up. This is Free Talk Live.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Don't miss this year's LibertyCon with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO John Mackey, Congressman Justin Amash, and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith. Attend 2 spectacular debates. Is government necessary? And does capitalism require government intervention? Network with over 70 pro-liberty organizations. This and a whole lot more. April the 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. Visit LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on LibertyCon.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, Live Sunday edition here. We'll take your calls and thoughts about what you want. Number's 855-450, free like freedom. Free Talk Live is brought to you by Bitcoin.com. Great site to go to learn about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash over at Bitcoin.com. And they've got a brand newish site started in the summer of 2019 at local.bitcoin.com that lets you buy or sell Bitcoin Cash. With dozens of payment methods, it's a global trading platform that actually respects your privacy, which means there's no identification requirements to sign up for the site over at local.bitcoin.com. Get started trading Bitcoin Cash at local.bitcoin.com. It's the Live Sunday edition. Here with you tonight, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Melanie.
And wow, full phones on a Sunday night here.
Immigration, man. Brings them out.
We really haven't even been talking that much about immigration.
We got started and they called in.
It's true. We did start with immigration, and a lot of people have opinions, so we're going to get to your calls and thoughts, starting out with John in Nebraska watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, John.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I kind of disagree with you on the rules and regulations. I think that we do need we need to protect consumers. And I think that big corporations, they could care less, obviously, about the rules and regulations. I mean, I guess, for example, you just look at the history of seatbelts and how hard those car companies fought against seatbelts. I mean, that's just an example right there. It was good for the consumer, and it's a good law that we have. It's something that was brought to you, by somebody who
were
wanted
consumers
to
not demanding safety in vehicles at the time.
I would say some were, and others were just like, I really don't care. I'm sure there's lots of people who bought cars and didn't care.
So if you cared about safety,
then,
could you have like an aftermarket seatbelt installed on your vehicle?
Obviously, I think you can. Yeah, I mean.
And those that didn't care, they were free to take whatever risks they wanted in their car.
Right, but you see, like if the problem is if you get a ride with somebody in a car, and there's no seatbelt.
Well,
you get where I'm going with that?
Yeah,
don't
take the ride.
So do you think that regulations, in fact, protect consumers?
Okay, but all right. So yeah, I mean, yes, rules and regulations do protect the consumers, and. If there were none, I mean, you could look. I mean,
so you believe? Hold on, no, John. I just want to be clear. You don't think seatbelts would exist if it weren't for government?
Well, I mean, there are people who fought for it, obviously, within the government. I mean, there's, like.
You do know that car companies. I mean, just to clarify, you do know that car companies sell their cars based on how safe they are. There's all kinds of safety features.
To his credit, though, they did fight against the seatbelt regulation at the time.
Well, I would fight against regulations too, no matter what the regulations were. But that doesn't mean that they would.
Even if it saved lives.
If the customers want it, they'll put it in their cars.
That's why I asked if you could put it in after.
So that's what I'm saying here is if that's what people are demanding, it will happen. They won't fight against what their customers want. And if you look at the way autos are sold today, there's frequently safety ratings and things like that. Oh, well, we've got a 5-star safety rating. This car's got this airbag and that airbag and, all this, stuff that they don't necessarily have to have, but they do. in a lot of cases, they go over and above whatever the legal mandatory minimums are. And that's true in a lot of industries where their safety standards are actually much higher than what the government requires. So, and a lot of that's brought on by the marketplace.
With some companies, yes. I mean, but with others, I mean, like...
So support those companies.
There's people who don't care. You know,
then don't give them your business.
Yeah,
Well, and let them not care.
But to an unknowing consumer, I mean, you know, you can't...
The ignorant consumer argument, right? So because some people are not going to pay attention, because some people are not going to do their due diligence, we need to have a humongous bureaucracy out there to try to protect those people from making mistakes. Is that right?
But you have to understand, if there's no rules and regulations that state that they have to state what's inside their product or whatever they're making or whatever the product is, you know, like let's say there's something that's contaminated in your food, and you know, like I guess that's a bad example, but let's say
because that happens anyway, right?
Paint, there's lead in your paint. Mm-hmm. And you're painting your room or something, you're in your house.
Don't eat the paint.
Lead paint was advertised as lead paint. It wasn't like a thing people found out about later.
Right. And you know, most people don't eat the paint. It's the babies that like walk around on the floor and then, you know, eat their, you know, whatever's on their hands, that kind of thing. So they're...
But you get what I'm trying to say, right?
I mean, understand what you're saying. You're saying that we need to have a regulatory massive state out there to protect people who don't want to do research. And
the modern day corollary is helmet laws, right? A lot of states have helmet laws for motorcycles. Some states don't.
That's a good example. You look at the CDC, you go to their website, and you see how much that costs us, you know, as far as medical bills, our tax dollars, when people don't wear helmets. You see how many people get hurt. It's insane. And
that sounds like a problem with socialism to me. If you have to pay for someone else's mistake,
no, it causes your bill to go. Like if someone gets hurt and they can't pay for it, that hospital has to find a way to come up with that money.
Right. You're talking about because government forces hospitals to take on patients that can't afford to pay.
To be
right?
fair, that would be somewhat of an issue anyway, because if you have somebody come in unconscious or partially conscious, the hospital's not necessarily going to be like, well, go dig up your financial statements first. They're going to treat them and hope they pay, and then the overhead is people who never pay the bill.
Should we stop people from taking risks then? I mean, should we stop people from jumping out of airplanes while we're at it as well? Bungee jumping?
Should we not have empathy? Should we not care about our...
Well, no, we shouldn't have empathy. We should have logic.
No, I agree with empathy. I totally agree with it. But
you shouldn't make decisions based on empathy.
To have empathy with other people means being able to put yourself in their shoes and understand how it could feel to be in that position. But just because we have empathy doesn't mean that it's okay to use violence to threaten our neighbors, right?
Violence? I mean, I don't know where... Wait, where are you
what
going
do you
with
think?
violence?
What do you think backs up all the government rules and regulations?
Okay, obviously there has to be people there to enforce the law.
Yeah. What do they use?
But look, I can agree with you on like you shouldn't have to pay a ton of money for a fishing or hunting permit or license or whatever like that. And I agree with you. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have to pay a bunch of money to go get a food handler's permit, but the classes still should be there. The education should still be available, and the permit should still... There's
voluntarily by a third-party organization, not the state.
So I've taken these food safety government-regulated classes, and there was nothing really in there that you shouldn't just know as a human being who's walking around.
Well, but he's against those. So, like, you're in favor of some regulations, but you're against some other regulations.
No, he said they should be the classes.
No, wait. I'm for the food handler's permit. Believe me, there's a lot of people who should not be handling food right now, but I'm just saying that, like, you know, you shouldn't have to pay a ton of money to go take that class, you know, or whatever. There's like different levels.
What about a food handling certification as opposed to a permit? Because one shows that you voluntarily went to go get the education. One's a permission slip from the state.
I mean, if they're equal in knowledge and, you know, learning and understanding,
certification is probably going to be higher quality.
John, I want to say thanks for the call tonight. I really do appreciate your perspective. Thanks for sharing it with us. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. But what if you just want to sell some food to your neighbors out of your own kitchen? Most places that is illegal, and it doesn't matter how well, how well trained you've been in the business. There's more coming up.
Ever wanted to hook up with an attractive woman, but you couldn't because you were already in a relationship? Ever wanted to earn high income on low work hours? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low work, high income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Watch our free on-demand replay training with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Do you ever say, I could care less, when you really mean the opposite? You mean to say, I couldn't care less. It's a common mistake. You are judged by how you speak, especially if you're looking for work, with so many more applicants than openings now. But even if you're not, avoiding common misstatements will help you make the most of the dozens of conversations and transactions that crowd your daily routine. So whatever you say, don't say whatever as a single-word sentence. It's the most annoying expression in the American English language, according to a recent poll. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. But seriously, at the end of the day, you'll want to avoid this scenario, sounding like everyone else. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves here. Bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Here in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
Also, the Edge wallet. Want to make sure you know about it. It's a great wallet for cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, BTC, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Ethereum, Bitcoin SV, various different Ethereum tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and several others. You can go and get your Edge wallet at the iOS or Android app stores and buy, sell, trade, and securely hold cryptocurrencies. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet, or go to their website and learn more about the technology behind Edge at edge.app. That's EDGE edge.app. As we continue, we'll take more of your calls and thoughts about what you want. Coming up, a major crackdown in Tampa Bay against unlicensed contractors, leading to the arrest of more than 100 productive people. But first, we go to your calls and thoughts here. We go to John. He's in Florida to start things out here. John, you're on Free Talk Live, and you're watching us on the Twitch video platform at twitch.lrn.fm. Go ahead.
Yes, this really hit home with me because about 2 years ago, me and my buddy, we were trying to get out under the thumb of, working at our 9-to-5 jobs, and so we were going to start a business. His grandpa had a zero-turn mower. I had from my uncle. I had me
I don't know what happened to your audio there, but it just cut out pretty bad. Make sure you talk right into your phone.
Okay, how about now? We're good now?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a leaf blower, and his grandpa had a zero-turn mower, and we were getting a little bit of the equipment together, and we started off with one lawn, and when we worked up, we had about 7-8 lawns, and we took over from this one guy. We were able to give our prices, so he was like charging them $100 a month, and we were doing for $50. And I think he's the one who said something, and
undercut his market. That's why.
Yeah, well, code enforcement from the county came out, and they came over and stopped us. And the guy comes out, and he says, "You have your permits, you have your bonds." Well, me and my buddy, he told me I had to stop working right then.
Wow.
Well, guess what? This market is rigged from the top to the bottom. You have to register your landscape and business name. You got to select the business structure. You need you got to register the landscape and business.
Ridiculous.
You got to open a business checking bank account. You got to hide taxes. You need an accountant. You got to get liability.
All this just to go and cut someone's grass.
What you should be able to do is like a 15-year-old with a lawnmower over the summer.
They used to have 12-year-olds who
or 12.
Yeah, were able to do that because there were no regulations. Maybe they couldn't get as far and do as many lawns, but
yeah, and we've seen stories like that up here. I don't remember, it was Massachusetts. I think it was Massachusetts or something like that, where some teenagers were targeted by code enforcement because they didn't have their snow shoveler's permit or whatever, and they were shoveling people's walkways and driveways and things like that. And it's just absolutely insane. So what happened, John? I mean, did they run you out of business?
Oh yeah, they threatened to throw us in jail, and then that wasn't all we needed. We had to sign up with OSHA. We needed a city license. They wanted us to have workers' compensation. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
Nonsense.
We had to register as contractors, and the other thing, I couldn't get a job picking oranges either because around here, back in 2008, when jobs were really bad, I went to go sign up to do orange picking. And what happened was, you get paid. It's $10.25, but that's if let's say you have your own car and you have your own house and transportation. You got paid $7.25 if you took your bus, and they had a little commune that you could stay at. And so you got paid $3 more though if you had all your you drove and everything.
Well, that kind of makes sense though, because you're not costing them money.
Correct. Well, what happened was I went to 2 different places. I was told I was overqualified, and I had been working at a Steak and Shake.
John, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate the story. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. I do miss Steak and Shake, I gotta say. I don't know if you know what Steak and Shake is.
I'm familiar with it. I have never had one.
It's a good product. I mean, it's fast food, but made to order steak burgers is what they kind of make their name on. But they're 24 hours a day, which is the nice part about Steak and Shake. And, the service is sort of notoriously bad, at least in my experience. Like, it's not particularly good. But the food's pretty decent and the prices were all right. And it was nice for me when I worked in overnights in radio.
Oh, yeah.
If it was 5 a.m. or whatever, I'm getting off work, I could just go and grab a burger and, strawberry shortcake or something like that. And they don't have them up here.
There's a handful of like those type of burger places where it's so regional.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be in the area to know about it.
Right.
Like steak, like out west, it's In-N-Out Burger.
Yep, I've heard about them.
And Whataburger is popular, and
exactly
Smash Burgers on the rise in some places.
Let's continue. We have Dan in Vermont on the line with us, listening to WVMT. Hey, Dan.
Hey, guys.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, so I moved to Vermont in 2001. My wife and I had 2 young kids, so we used to have the younger one, go to a little mom and pop daycare, down the street. Usually, like a grandma or a stay-at-home mom would take in a few kids and, 3, 4 kids. And what's happened over the years is that here in the People's Republic, the state basically started regulating that more and more, so that basically it's ironic because the cost of childcare keeps going up, and then all the Democratic progressive controlled legislature keeps saying, oh, well, we need to increase the subsidies for that to help pay for the cost, but they've literally made it more expensive because the mom and pop operations or the woman down the street, taking 3 or 4 toddlers in, got regulated out. And then now basically the state is going to a system where you pretty much often have to have like a high school, not a high school, a college degree in like early childhood ed, to work in these places. They're moving in that direction.
It's crazy.
Well, and
ironically,
that's their actual goal, though, because if they raise the prices, if they regulate it so much that they, quote, have to subsidize it, then now they get to control it because they're subsidizing it.
Yeah, no, it's exactly the done. And they already first started authorizing about 10 to 15 hours of state paid childcare within the schools. So if you have a pre-K kid, they can go like 10 hours free. And it's funny because now they're having these crises where they're saying, oh, look, we have a childcare crisis. And then they're trying to raise the minimum wage at the same time, up above 12. They're trying to move to $15 an hour. And then they have all these stories where the young families can't afford it. But it's funny because enough people remember it wasn't too long ago that the state essentially drove the mom and pop child cares out of business. And so it's no wonder that there's a crisis because there's less supply of child care providers.
But now you're saying that they can put them in state hands for 10 hours a week or something like that
Yeah, so that was a way, because we've had declining, the state budget keeps going up for education, even though we have declining enrollment here in the People's Republic.
Of course.
And so one of the things they did was to help the school budget survive was they said, oh, okay, well, we'll start counting students who go for just 10 hours towards the student count of the school, because we have a statewide pool of education money. It's not per town. It all goes into the state, then it gets redistributed back.
It should be so easy
state.
just to like drop it off at the neighbor's house, right? Like the mom and pop shop that he said. Everyone in the neighborhood.
And again, they used to be regulated basically on size. So if you had, I think, above 6 or 8 kids, there was at least a registration and minimal safety inspection and things like that. But it used to be if you were under a certain number of kids, you weren't regulated.
Cool, I can put them in the asbestos room.
Right, well, the funny
that
thing
helps
is,
your market.
And I mean, if there's, parents, a father and a mother, if there's something sketchy at the child care down the street, or you don't think this person's doing a good enough job, you'll pull your kid out.
Real quick.
The market can handle it. And you're absolutely right on, Dan. Thanks for sharing that with us tonight. I really appreciate hearing from you. And that's Dan there in Vermont, or as he calls it, the People's Republic of Vermont. 855-450-FREE. There's more coming up here, and you can bring up what you want on Free Talk Live.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, Medicaid, or have private insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. Managing your diabetes is crucial to your health. The new CGM can automatically and easily help you manage your diabetes more effectively. And by using a CGM, you can eliminate the one thing most people with diabetes dislike the most, finger sticks. Now you can automatically manage your diabetes and end the painful finger sticks. Solara Medical Supplies makes it simple for you to have a new CGM. We'll do all the insurance paperwork for you and deliver the newest in diabetic care technology right to your door. Take charge of your diabetes today with the help of a new continuous glucose monitor. Call now to learn more. 800-547-5331. 800-547-5331. 800-547-5331. That's 800-547-5331.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. For your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
World fast for peace.
I don't understand what she said.
If the whole world fasted like Gandhi, we would see great results for this struggle to survive world order.
There's never going to be any peace. You sound like you're on drugs there. It sounds like you're a flower child. You're pumped up on drugs.
Any woman who doesn't agree with you is on drugs or something.
I may be a racist and anti-Semite, but I have all my faculties.
Well, racism and sexism are one.
You're one of those love mankind, love thy neighbor.
And I am too, and thank you both for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. That is the one thing I can certainly agree with the lady on. Normally I can't understand a word that she says, but I think Scott, the bigot, did interpret her correctly, and that she is interested in peace, and I like that.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You bring up whatever you want. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Want to say thanks to Tyler C., who is a Free Talk Live silver amplifier, meaning that Tyler contributes $5 a month to the Free Talk Live AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It is a program that allows you to get behind what we do here on Free Talk Live and help us get on more radio stations around the United States and possibly beyond. And that can help us get the ideas of liberty into more people's heads, which is a valuable thing, I think. Maybe you value these ideas and you want to help us do that. Please join as Tyler C. has done over at amp.freetalklive.com. You can use PayPal, credit card, or Bitcoin BTC at ampamp.freetalklive.com.
combat these callers asking for more regulations.
Indeed. We've actually had a really good show tonight. I appreciate all the folks that have weighed in here, even if we don't agree, because that's what makes talk radio the most interesting, is when people don't agree with each other. So I'm grateful for those calls. Some people are still convinced that they need to have a government regulatory structure to protect people, that if it weren't for regulations, that people would be in grave danger.
Dun, dun,
and usually from corporations, which is odd because corporations are creatures of the states.
What do you mean by that?
So the state created a thing called a corporation, which allows you to sever liability, which is just responsibility for your actions,
right,
from yourself.
That's
so you could say, oh, that wasn't me. That was business me.
Yes.
And so if something went wrong in my business and I created a car that kills 7 million people, I could just be like, well, you could take all my business assets that I had assigned to that business,
but not my own house.
But I'm not paying for that, and you can't hold me responsible in any way. So peace.
Yeah,
I'll just go open another corporation then.
That's true. It's the benefit of a corporation.
It doesn't bar you from the industry.
Right.
It just protects you as a person. And the assets that were assigned by you to that specific corporation,
correct,
you can lose.
Aside from the limited liability aspect, I am not convinced that some sort of corporate structure would not exist absent the state. Like I can see.
Well, that's kind of the thing that makes it that structure.
You're talking about you're saying that if there was no state, if there was no coercive government that we had,
right.
That someone who wanted to create a business would still have some kind of a legal entity or some sort of representation on paper of that business, because that's what a corporation is, right? It's just a paper filing, in a folder somewhere that says so and so is doing business as this entity. This
I believe
name.
so, because if you want to have large businesses, which I don't think will go the way of the dodo absent the state, right? You need one individual is not going to have like the startup capital. So the easiest way to like build your startup capital is to entice investors with future profits, right? And once you start getting investors, the easiest way to manage investors, it seems to be to me, to offer shares of the company.
Mm-hmm.
So they would then be bought into ownership of the company, but they would also be bought into liability absent the state without that coverage. So it still wouldn't be.
Well, that would be a lot less. There's also other reasons I think that the stock market would be a lot less common in the absence of the state and the tax regulations. But that, in and of itself, would make stock way less common because that's a lot of risk. You have to actually pay attention to what's going on. Yes. That's going to disincentivize people from doing it, as it should. I don't think that most businesses would be anywhere near what they are. The apex business in that industry. So, Walmart, Amazon.
Right.
But
the argument that I hear a lot is like, absent the state, we wouldn't have corporations.
Well, we wouldn't, because that's what a corporation is. We also wouldn't have 401ks.
Right.
You mean there would be businesses, but not corporations?
There would be businesses structured similarly to that of corporations, where you have
shares,
the owner, shares, stockholders.
Those could all be private contracts.
They could be, which is why I believe it would exist.
And you may still need a lawyer or something to set it up for you.
Possibly.
Or a professional who does that sort of thing.
I'm just saying, like, when I hear the argument like corporations won't exist, I hear the argument about the limited liability. I understand that they're created by the state, and therefore, in the current iteration would not exist. But I don't think that the way corporations are structured would disappear overnight.
But that is the way corporations are structured. If 3 people get together and do a thing and they mess up, then those 3 people are liable and responsible for their actions.
Right, but what happens?
The states.
But what happens when you sell thousands of shares into an organization and put that available? Then you have that.
I don't think anybody would do that
burden.
because in the absence of the state, that would be insane.
No, I don't think so.
Well, why couldn't you have shareholders who don't have liability?
Because they own the company.
But you could still disclaim liability, couldn't you? Like, I just want to give you some money. If you fail, then I don't get my money back. And if you succeed, then I get my money back. But if you fail, as in like you are held liable for some sort of damage that you've done, then I still should not be, as part of my contract.
But the victim isn't a part of that contract.
Yeah.
You're going to contract with everybody on Earth. Okay, in case he harms you.
You contract with the corporation, and then depending if you want to have like different tiers of stock ownership, right? Liability stock and non-liability stock.
And then the liability people would get better dividends or whatever.
Obviously,
right?
Because they're absorbing more of the risk. Then the victim would still sue the corporation, and everyone who's a liability stock owner would be on the.
I don't think you're wrong about this. I think that what's confusing the conversation is the use of the word corporation, because it's when you're saying it, you're using it in a sort of dual meaning. You're using it on one hand to mean the legal filing of the corporation, and then you're also referring to it sort of interchangeably with the word business. And a lot of people do that, where they'll call a business a corporation.
Well, a mom and pop shop is a business.
And usually a corporation as well, because a lot of those are incorporated.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be.
Almost always.
Okay.
Because they're paying taxes, usually, right?
Sure.
And so in order to do that, they've probably got some sort of a LLC or S corporation or sole proprietorship or whatever, right?
And if you can come up with a better word to describe like
business.
What, just business?
Well, the problem is corporation is literally a legal status.
I got it.
So absent the state,
I'm not even arguing that.
There's literally no such thing as a corporation.
Which is why I also said corporate structure,
but
because I don't have a term for it.
There's also no such thing
business
as
structure.
Okay, fine.
Severing liability from your actions.
Right, and come up with a term for that, and I'll use that term. But I don't have a better way to describe.
But I don't see how, absent the state, you can sever liability from your actions. Because if I own a thing and it harms someone, I'm responsible for that. If I own a dog and it harms someone, I'm responsible for that. If I own 1/10 of a dog and it bites someone, I'm still responsible.
But you are not wholly responsible if there's like 1,000 shareholders with equal liability.
I mean, you could argue that I'm 1/1000th responsible, but I'm not just walking away from that.
Well, it could just simply be that, and again, we're speculating about what might happen in this fantasy world with no state that we'll be amazed to reach in our lifetimes, right? But if that were to actually occur, maybe it would be commonly accepted that businesses are not to be held liable beyond their assets. You know, that the individuals who are involved.
That makes the weird assumption that a business is a thing, is a separate thing from the person. Well, that's what
the idea of a corporation is, right? It's this legal fiction that the lawyers have said, alakazam, there is now this thing,
right?
This corporation. It's in there, the name corp, right? Like body, corpus, or whatever.
Sure. And if you want me to not use that term, then
I'm not saying that.
Okay, well,
I do think you shouldn't use that term for something that's not a corporation, because it confuses the issue.
I agree with that.
All the problems that come with it would disappear.
So I'll
with
use
the state.
I'll use the term business then. I think there will be businesses set up with shareholders who are then going to be held liable for whatever goes wrong, right?
Like or the reverse,
and if they're held liable, that gets rid of most of the issues that you see today.
Well, and that's the only other argument against corporations as it stands today is they sever the liability. And I think when I hear people argue against that in terms of absent the state, what will it look like? I still don't think it's going to look significantly different. It just will be structured. The business will be structured.
But I do think that most things will be structured significantly different. There's no reason for a restaurant that sells hamburgers to need to be set up that way. Maybe if you're an airline, you need to own several airports in order for that to be functional.
And I said larger businesses that will have to stay in operation. That makes sense.
But right now, you're doing that with everything. If you sell a car and it catches on fire, you could just walk away from that.
Maybe insurance could be a factor here, where a company could purchase liability insurance that would protect them would protect the investors.
Or investor insurance.
Right, so like they would pay, if there was some sort of a judgment against that company that went beyond what they could afford to pay, then the insurance would kick in the rest.
The insurance would have to evaluate what kind of risk that was before they wrote a $10 million policy.
All right,
I still think you'll have CEOs, board of directors, and shareholders.
That's probably true. So business structure.
Or
whatever.
Call it what you want.
Yeah, 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. You join us. We got a full hour to go here on Free Talk Live's Live Sunday show.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000. 859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,567, silver at $17.83, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,730. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, on Tuesday, a House committee approved a bill to put a 3-year ban or moratorium on the use of facial recognition for surveillance or any other purposes by the state and its political subdivisions. Passage into law would represent an important first step towards protecting privacy and rejecting the national surveillance state. Activist Post reports a coalition of 3 Democrats introduced House Bill 2856 January 27th. The legislation would put a 3-year ban on the use of facial recognition by government in Washington state. If passed into law, state and local government agencies would be prohibited from obtaining, retaining, requesting, accessing, or using any facial recognition technology or any information obtained from or by use of facial recognition technology. Additionally, any information obtained from or by the use of facial recognition would be barred from being used as evidence in any trial or other proceeding before a court or other authority subject to the jurisdiction of Washington. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. At the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, world leaders addressed various ways to combat climate change and help the environment. It was there the U.S. President Donald Trump committed to the Trillion Trees Initiative. The Mind Unleashed reports a bill is currently being drafted by Representative Bruce Westerman, a Republican from Arkansas, that would set in stone the commitment to the planting of billions of trees annually. If the legislation passes, the U.S. will plant 3.3 billion trees each year over the next 30 years. Over the last few years, tree planting initiatives have increased across the world. From Ireland pledging to plant 440 million trees over the next 20 years, to Ethiopia breaking the world record by planting 350 million trees in a mere 12 hours. Chemists working with the U.S. Army are developing new uniforms that can quickly break down toxic substances, protecting troops from bioweapons, according to a report from Wired. Omar Farah's lab at Northwestern University is testing a fabric that can neutralize nerve agents. The new fabric is part of a collaborative effort between the college and the Army, which might take upwards of a decade to test and then commission as the next-generation battle uniform. Activist Post reports the fabric can destroy nerve agents VX, Soman, and Sarin. The dangerous chemicals can be made in a biosafety level 4 laboratory, like the one found in Wuhan, China. Wired noted that the Army already has uniforms to protect troops from nerve agents, but there are no uniforms that can destroy the toxins. Jared DaCosta, a researcher with the Army who is not involved with the project, said the military has been searching for uniforms that can shield troops from bioweapons and at the same time destroy the chemicals. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The Princeton Medical Institute has found that the most common deathbed regret, more than losing contact with family or spending too much time at the office, is never having sprayed a fire extinguisher all over the place.
Similar themes emerged in our interviews with dying patients. Some wished that they'd taken more risks. Others wished that they'd lived a life truer to their dreams. But almost every single person surveyed, regardless of their age or circumstance, said that their most significant regret was never having grabbed a fire extinguisher off a wall and blasted it around a room until it ran out of foam.
I've lived a good life. I was a nurse for 32 years. I have 3 beautiful children, but I've never smashed my elbow into a glass case, grabbed a fire extinguisher, and gone whoosh over everything.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, launching into the third hour here of this live Sunday edition. The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you at discord.lrn.fm. Here in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Melanie.
So we still have that story about the crackdown on unlicensed contractors that we didn't get into. Plus, we can come back around to the immigration discussion. Both of you guys had stories about immigration tonight. So that's all to come if we get the chance. Of course, your calls and thoughts come first here on Free Talk Live. So we're going to go to the phones and to what may or may not be the fun. Let's talk to Marcus in Toronto. You're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Actually,
maybe not. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we do hear you. What have you to say to us tonight?
Oh, okay. I was hoping to talk about the Earth being flat. You guys are really touchy. Well, that's a tough subject to really get out there.
Yeah, because it makes you look insane. I mean, that's really tough.
Well, actually, you know, before you go down that path, the only thing that fellas who believe in it being a pretty blue marble have is shame and ridicule, like the emperor wears.
No, they also have science.
Let's talk about science, because it's hard to find a single experiment that shows the Earth being a ball.
You don't need an experiment. You can just go on an airplane and find out for yourself.
How thick is
What
the
do you
flat
see?
Earth?
Out of curiosity, what do you see on an airplane?
The curvature
Before I answer
of
that,
the
did you
Earth,
know
if
that-
you're high enough.
Well, did you know that about 5 years ago, when Flat Earth started making sort of like a breakthrough on the internet, all the airline companies wound up changing their windows. So that you could, no, I'm serious. They changed
All the
their windows
airline
around.
companies changed their windows
Well,
because flat Earth was getting big. To what did they change their windows exactly?
It's probably a handful of airplane manufacturers.
Uh-huh.
What is
there's
the
plenty
incentive of
Actually,
airlines to make you think the Earth is a
not
different
the new
shape?
ones. The old ones got taken in and refurbished with new windows.
Right, buddy. Sure.
They're
So-
not really windows.
It's all
They're
a
just
big conspiracy.
Screens. They're LED screens, so you're not really actually looking
it
out at
makes
the Earth.
sense if you really think about why you need to lie about it, right?
Okay, why?
Because-
How does what shape the Earth is affect you or anybody else's life?
On a daily basis.
Well, see, the way it really works is that if you think about the fact that Satanists have been trying to take over the world.
Whoa.
What does this have to do with
wait. So
Satan?
they're not already. You don't think they're already running the world?
Well, they are, but finding subscriptions would be really tough.
Well, wait. How are they
If
trying to
you
take
were-
over the world if they're already running it? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, but see, they still need subscriptions.
What does that mean exactly? Are they signing up for
basically,
PayPal?
They need new people to start selling their souls to keep I guess what would be a nice way? I have no way of putting this nicely, so I'm kind of hoping subscriptions up is about the only way that I can think of saying it nicely.
Wow, I
on
mean,
a
I
channel
gotta
that-
say, this guy has taken Flat Earth to a new level of lunacy with the addition of Satan paranoia added to the mix
if you
here.
think about it, well, can you name a single experiment? I mean, here you are saying you don't need one.
Wait a minute. You just told me
which is a wonderful
that,
way to look at it.
Hold on. You
If
just
think-
told me, Marcus, that you can't look out a window anymore in an airline because all of the airlines updated every single one of the planes out there at an insane
And
level
I
of cost.
still want to know why the airlines care.
Yeah, and what exactly did they do? Did they put in magic windows that make it so it sort of reverses
Well, no,
the
they put 'em in
horizon?
they put in concave. They put in concave windows.
So you see
But
a curvature.
see, here's the thing: you got Neil deGrasse Tyson. By the way, is it okay to call him Neil smokes a lot of grass instead?
You can call whatever you want, man.
I've heard him called Black
Well,
Science
no,
Guy.
I can't call him whatever I want on this show. Believe me.
Well, yeah,
But
you
regardless-
could say grass on the radio if that's the question.
Okay, that's
Digress.
wonderful. But,
Wow.
but regardless of the fact, he came out saying that even at the height of the ISS, it's so low to the ground that
The International
there's
Space
no way.
Station.
Yeah, the International
Hold on.
Space Station.
Did you
There's
just
no
say that
way.
the International Space Station cannot see the curvature of the Earth? Is that your claim?
According to Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Can it
I doubt
float-
that he
it's
said
not-
that.
Can it float to the other
it
side of
went
the
viral.
Earth and tell us what's on the
It really
bottom?
went viral in the flat Earth community.
Well, yeah. Well, the flat Earth community is full of a bunch of people who are ignoring all of the various pilots and professionals who deal with
Mathematicians.
satellite, for instance, technology. Chris Reitman, who is a co-host here on Free Talk Live, he was a satellite tech for many years and dealt with
He's part of the conspiracy.
That's what these people believe. They literally
Well, no,
believe
the
that there's-
conspiracy that if you think about it is if you look at your typical satellite dish, the one that people hang up in their house to watch TV or whatever the heck you may want to do with a satellite dish, they're always pointed like low to the ground, like as if they're stretching out to a network antenna.
Yeah,
further
dude,
down the
you don't
road.
know what you're talking about.
But not straight
You're
up.
out of your
Satellite-
mind.
There's a satellite outside the
Insane.
studio that's pointed up at the sky.
Yeah, there's a satellite. It's not a satellite. It's a
Okay.
dish.
Oh, it's
Satellite
dish, sorry.
dish that
A
is
satellite dish.
is pointed at 97 degrees west in the southern sky, which is relatively high up. Actually, it's above the tree line because if it's below the tree line, you don't get a signal, dude.
Well, that's true, but how far away, if it's pointed so high up, I'd be questioning where the tower is that it's pointing at. Is
It's
there,
not
like,
a tower,
big
dude.
tower
It's a
with
It's a
satellite.
satellite that is in orbit around a globular spherical Earth. My God.
Around orbit.
I mean,
See,
you
that's
just
the
don't
part-
even understand basic anything about how things work in space. You just don't believe anything about what people have told you. I understand being skeptical, man. I'm all in favor of skepticism, but this is like beyond the pale.
How much is the CIA paying for this phone call?
That's a good question. You know, if you talk about space, then you ought to talk about the fact that every single picture that came from an official space agency, in other words, if it says NASA or JAXA on it or various other space agencies, if it has their logo on it, somewhere on that piece of paper, it has to say, this is an artistic rendition. In other words, we've all been buying space art.
Sure,
Nobody's
buddy.
been buying actual pictures of space.
That might be like some regulation somewhere.
Because if you think about science, because if you really want to think about science, there's laws that say if you know how bright an object is and you know how far away it is, you can tell how bright that object is once you get to it. That science basically says that the moon would have to be 5 times brighter than a welder's torch if it's truly 250,000 miles away and you can see it.
You do realize that the moon doesn't give off light, right? Or is that a conspiracy too?
Now the question is,
this guy doesn't know jack squat about anything.
Are the other planets round or are they flat too?
They're all balls of light. We've never been there. So as far as we're concerned, it's balls of light. They've actually proven. I mean, think about it. If we go by the fact that
my intelligence
the sun,
is going down over time. I can feel my IQ points actually slipping away listening to you, Marcus. I don't understand what it is that you think that you're bringing of value because you're so misinformed. It's actually really sad to listen to this
why
call.
don't you inform me?
No, I can't. You wouldn't believe anything that we say to you. You don't believe if we bring a pilot on the air, if we bring a pilot on the air and he tells you he's seen the curvature of the Earth, you'll just believe he's part of a conspiracy.
Or a scientist or an astronaut or a mathematician.
If you think about pilots, they already have to hide the fact that their jet planes work on a perpetual jet engine. Or a perpetual motion machine, which is actually a jet engine.
Oh my God!
Why would the pilots even have to hide that?
I can't handle
pilots don't refuel the
It's okay. You only
planes.
got like 3 seconds left.
Oh my God! I don't even want to say thanks for that call. I mean, it was just the most mind-numbing claptrap. It's just hard to believe that someone is actually that ignorant. Thank you for the call. I guess just out of habit. Thank you for revealing how truly ignorant people absolutely can be.
True believers.
855-450 free. Now, that's not to say that there aren't conspiracies and that the government isn't covering things up, but I don't think that's one of them. It's Free Talk Live.
Don't miss this year's LibertyCon with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO John Mackey, Congressman Justin Amash, and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith. Attend 2 spectacular debates. Is government necessary? And does capitalism require government intervention? Network with over 70 pro-liberty organizations. This and a whole lot more. April the 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. Visit LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on LibertyCon.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McAlvany ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of LicoChops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved LicoChops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try LicoChops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. And yes, you can call in about anything you want.
Apparently, we have just proven that.
Even if it is true madness or ignorance or both. It's Free Talk Live. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Ian.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
And do want to let you know about LibertyCon. That is coming up in April. It's actually April 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. You'll be able to network with over 70 pro-liberty organizations. I don't think I've ever been at an event with that many, groups that are going to be represented. That's going to be amazing. Plus, they'll have some pretty great debates. At least that's the way it's shaping up. One will be called Is Government Necessary?, which will feature David Friedman taking the position that, nope, it's not. And then Timothy Sandefur will be arguing the government is indeed necessary. There's another debate scheduled called Does Capitalism Require Government Intervention? In that debate, Gene Epstein, the economics editor for Barron's, will be debating Stephen Pearlstein from the Washington Post. Epstein will take the anti-intervention stance, and Pearlstein will argue in favor of intervention. Plus, lots of great speeches will be on deck as well over at LibertyCon. Go to libertycon.com, use code FTL, save $10 on your tickets. That's libertycon.com. Use code FTL, like Free Talk Live, and we'll see you there April 3rd through the 5th, because Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from that event. I'm looking forward to checking it out for the first time. It'll be my first LibertyCon. So we can, of course, take your calls and thoughts. You can talk about whatever is on your mind. All right, back to the world of the real, where people are having their rights destroyed. That's what people, in my opinion, should be caring about rather than flat earth claptrap.
Well, they're having their rights taken from them on the flat earth.
Well, that's what they would have you believe. But anyway, Hillsborough County WFLA reporting at News Channel 8 that County Sheriff Chad Chronister announced the completion of an investigation into unlicensed contracting on Tuesday morning, which led to the arrest of more than 100 people.
So calling it an investigation is a little misleading.
Well, they spent police resources and
It was
time.
a sting operation.
Yeah. They spent a
set
lot of
people
money
up.
on this,
Yeah.
right? They spent a lot of time. Obviously, there's no real crime in Tampa Bay because they were able to spend all this time on going after unlicensed contractors. The sheriff said, quote, "The Tampa Bay housing market is booming right now, but that also means fraudsters are looking to exploit homeowners." Oh, he's going to claim that someone's committing fraud because they're unlicensed?
No.
Well,
Not
the
at
only
all.
way that would be
Is
fraudulent.
if you claim to be licensed.
Right.
It's kind of like being a lawyer in New Hampshire. You can do it as long as you don't say you're licensed.
I have lived in Florida, and I have hired people who have not had licenses to do things.
Good.
And that is specifically why I hired those people to do the things, because I didn't want to pay the extra costs necessary with hiring a licensed contractor, because they had to pay a bunch of money to like go through all kinds of unnecessary classes and, you know, pay licensing fees or whatever. And so they got to charge more in order to recoup their costs in that case.
And not every skill requires a license, right?
That's
Some of it
true.
just experience doing it repeatedly gives you the skill set necessarily to do it for somebody else for pay.
And I wasn't disappointed with the quality of the work. The work was delivered. It was delivered on time. It was delivered within the budget that was expected to be delivered. And, you know, it was somebody that I had a connection with. So I was able to help a friend out who, you know, needed to get some work, right? But it was all illegal in that case. Plus, an unlicensed contractor isn't as likely to go and pull a permit for the work that they're doing. So if you're doing work indoors and like code enforcement can't drive by and figure out what you're doing, then the unlicensed contractor is protection against having to pay unnecessary fees to whatever state bureaucracy happens to be around to give you the permission slip to have the work done in the first place, which of course is the reason why the state is going after them. They're missing out on revenue from all of these unlicensed contractors. Every one of these unlicensed contractors they busted is a person who didn't give the state any money to do the business that they're doing. So that's why they're upset.
Yeah. And some of, I don't know how much of the story it's in, but I think some of them were like licensed to do specific jobs.
But
and
not others.
And when they got to the job site, this is why it's kind of, you know, they got sting operation and entrapment. They got to the job site and said, hey, while you're here, can you take a look at this? And then busted them for the additional stuff. They're like, oh, yeah, I can take a look at that for you, too.
Oh, that's even shady from like a statist perspective.
Well, yeah, but, you know.
Stephen Velletri is among dozens of contractors who were arrested. A search of the FDLE sex offender registry shows that Velletri was convicted of rape in New York State in
How is that
1998.
relevant? That's not even relevant to his contractor.
Just imagine for a moment, the sheriff said, this person who was convicted of rape coming into your home where your loved ones are.
They would have licensed him if he asked for the license.
They probably would have.
Because it's irrelevant to the job that he's doing.
Is that true, though? Because a lot of things like that will bar you for irrelevant convictions.
Yeah, well, I don't know. None of us live in Florida. We don't know what the requirements are on being a contractor down there. But really, a 20-year-old rape conviction is going to prohibit you from fixing somebody's pipes or whatever?
According to the states, dangerous to have that rapist fixing pipes.
Just because somebody did something wrong 20 years ago means they can't.
I don't know if that's the phrasing I would use for rape. Did something wrong 20 years ago.
It is something wrong. I didn't say made a mistake.
Something wrong
okay?
is like stealing
Committed
a candy
a crime
bar.
20 years ago. Violated
rape
rights.
is bad. There's no doubt about it. But are you suggesting that because someone has once been a racist that they must always be rapist, that they must always be a rapist?
I mean, that pretty much I don't know. Like to me, that would like pretty much like, okay, you're out of society now. Bye. Like.
Maybe you wouldn't hire them, but that doesn't mean.
But
that
you're
they
also
should be
presuming
prevented from working.
Well, and you're presuming that the conviction was relevant or legitimate. What if it was someone who said he raped her?
If they didn't do
Statutory
it,
rape.
yeah,
could have been that too. So just because he's listed as a rapist doesn't mean he actually really did anything. It could have been, somebody claiming that he raped
but
her.
You were kind of arguing as if we assume he did it because you're
Let's
like,
assume he did it.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and assume he did it. Mark
think that
Edge
stops him.
committed a murder according to the legal system back in 1987 or whatever it was.
But we're not assuming that Mark Edge committed murder, and in fact, Mark Edge did not commit murder.
That's what he says, and I believe him about that. But he assisted with the commission of a murder and was ultimately convicted and went to prison for 8 years.
Yeah, I don't really
nearly 9 years.
Don't let him back on the air. He's not suited for this job anymore.
Shouldn't people get a chance, to try again and have a better life and, I don't know, make amends if possible and try to do things right?
Also, if he's a danger to society, don't let him out of jail, right? Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If he's as dangerous, why is he walking around? But yeah, no.
Well, if he was dangerous, then the first place he went to fix the sink or whatever, he'd rape somebody there, and it probably wouldn't. If he didn't get shot in that moment, then there probably would be a criminal case brought against him for that, and then then you'd know about that.
Yeah, so licensing shouldn't be a thing. But I'm not going to sit here and say that rapists are safe just because licensing shouldn't be a thing. This is two separate issues.
I didn't say rapists are safe. Sure. I said a guy who committed rape 20 years ago may not be the same person he was 20 years ago.
I think they're trumping up that charge for the
he's the same person. He didn't CRISPR himself into a brand new person.
Every 7 years.
He's still him.
Actually, every 7 years, your whole body supposedly changes all of its cells out. So technically, he's not still him.
He's like 3 guys once removed from that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your cells pretty much clone themselves exactly, though. So yes, think? He still is.
855 450 free, but people can change, can't they? It's Free Talk Live.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge Wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free here. Bring up what you want. Number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
Also, Forkfest is coming up this summer. It's going to be June 29th until July 5th, and Free Talk Live will be there broadcasting from the event. People were talking about it just this evening, as a matter of fact. Lots of folks excited about Forkfest because it's a decentralized libertarian camping event, and decentralized meaning that there's no board of directors, there are no organizers, therefore there's no tickets, therefore there's no price of tickets. So you just get your campsite or RV site or motel room, if you like, from Rogers Campground. That's the location of Forkfest. Very beautiful location in the White Mountains of northern New Hampshire. It's just absolutely splendid to spend some time there, especially in the summertime when it's warm during the day, cools down at night. And you'll be surrounded by a bunch of really cool liberty-oriented folks, whether they be libertarians or voluntarists or liberty-loving anarchists. There's going to be a bunch of great people there at Forkfest, and they will decide what to bring to the table, meaning that each individual decides, what to contribute. Meaning, if you want to just go and attend and hang out and go to a campfire or make a campfire or whatever, that's cool. Or maybe you want to create something for the other attendees to attend. This last year in 2019, there was a giant dome that was created. That was cool. On a couple of campsites by the guys from AnyPay, which was super cool. There was also a fairly large tent, which was kind of like a party tent that was going on as well. So there's different things happening at different times, and at the same time, Alt Expo had their own tent there where they had various different speeches going on. This year, there's going to be something called Ladies Night Out, and they're going to be putting together some sort of curriculum. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. I've heard there's going to be performances involved. I don't know what that means, but
are you invited?
Yeah, I think everybody's invited. But as I understand it, they're going to have a paid performance, meaning you would have to pay, and it's going to be a closed-off thing. So only people paying could get into that thing, whatever that's going to be. And again, I don't know what it is because I'm not organizing it.
I've also never been invited to a ladies' night. So.
I'm just, this might be your first time then. And so that's one of the things that's going to happen. I heard that Jay Noon's bringing back Man Camp, which he did last year for the first time. So it's really just completely decentralized. We don't know everything that's going to be offered there, and that's part of the fun. It's just showing up and figuring it out. And now, of course, you can connect early with some of the attendees by going to the Forkfest chat room on Telegram. How do you find that? You go to forkfest.party, and there's a link right there to the chat room. There's also a Forkfest forum. Not as busy, but it's there in case you want to connect with other people. Go to forkfest.party, learn more about the event. And again, mark your calendar, June 29th until July 5th for Forkfest 2020. The website, forkfest.party. We go to your calls and thoughts. We can talk more about the crackdown on unlicensed contractors in Tampa Bay. 100 people arrested for just trying to help people get things done around the house.
You think they had one steakhouse set up and they just kept inviting contractors in?
That's exactly what they did. During the bust here, undercover detectives claiming to be homeowners in need of repair work, so they were lying, committing deception, throughout the county, caught more than 100 unlicensed contractors in an investigation nicknamed Operation House Hunters. They used 5 homes apparently in the bus, not just one. The sheriff said, quote, "They want your hard-earned money and they don't care if you're left with poor quality work that could put you and your loved ones at risk."
That doesn't even go hand in hand. You can get poor quality work from a licensed contractor.
Yes, you can.
And you can get great work from an unlicensed contractor.
Yep, but that's the mythology they want you to believe, is that the state piece of paper is going to somehow separate you from shoddy workmanship.
No, not at all.
The sheriff's office provided a video that shows 3 people being arrested. One of those in the video is Troy Massey, advertising his services on Craigslist, say the investigators. He told detectives he could install lighting and paint the inside of a home for $1,100.
I'll bet he could.
Detectives learned that Massey's state-certified contractor's license was revoked in 2011 after he was disciplined 2 years prior for abandoning a project in Hillsborough County and failing to take care of the requirements imposed upon him during the disciplinary hearing. Well, there's your proof. He had a license.
There you go. And did shoddy work.
He abandoned the entire project.
There you go. Can't trust those licensed contractors.
Yep. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. We've got Sean in Tennessee listening to, I believe you're in Chattanooga. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Listening to WGOW. Go ahead, Sean.
I was just calling to touch on the flat Earth topic.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Can you touch all around the flat Earth topic?
I was just thinking, I mean, you could put yourself in like one of 3 categories. Either you're like omniscient, or you have firsthand firsthand knowledge of something, or you just like believe whatever.
So which category are you in when it comes to the flat Earth theory?
Well, at this point, I think that I'm just somebody that's been taught something as far as like the round Earth.
So you're in the third category of just believing without
he's
being
not
omniscient.
saying he believes.
Well, there's only 3 categories. He's not omniscient. He doesn't have firsthand knowledge because he's been taught these things. So he has to be, according to his theory, he has to be in the third category of just believing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that you can only be one. You can know everything, like God, or you're just you've got complete firsthand experience.
So just to be clear, you are an agnostic when it comes to the Earth. You don't know whether it's round or flat. You have no opinion.
Well, I couldn't really completely know, and I think all of us couldn't really completely know.
What about the people who've seen it?
Somebody that's been told. And I think.
What about the people with firsthand knowledge?
Well, somebody with firsthand experience or knowledge, I think that with me, I mean, they would really have to persuade me that it's round Earth.
Okay, so if they had gone up in an airplane and they've been up there multiple times and they tell you, Sean, I have seen with my own 2 eyes the curvature of the Earth.
Sean would still be a believer because that does not give him firsthand knowledge.
Well, wait, what does he believe?
Doesn't matter.
Well, I'd still be, I guess, not necessarily believer, but just somebody that you could only try to get to believe is what I was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you called in to tell us that you have no opinion on the shape of the Earth?
Well, I would put myself in the third category. I was just trying to, create like the scale, because I definitely know I'm not omniscient. Right. I don't know everything, and I don't have like this firsthand experience. What's left is we're all just like students that are just going to be told, and like somebody's going to try to persuade that this is the way it is.
Well, there's no doubt that so-called authorities should be questioned and distrusted. You should not believe somebody simply because they say they know a thing or whatever. But when it comes to something like this, where there's not like a limitation on a real serious limitation on the number of people that could have this knowledge, meaning that there are tens of thousands of airline pilots, for instance, at any given moment that are daily up and about doing things.
Well, and passengers, if you don't believe that they switched out the windows.
Right. Well, of course, the airline pilots get a larger view, right?
Sure,
like they've got a much larger window. It's easier to see that. There's also, of course, everybody that's ever been involved in calculating satellite, that their trajectory around the Earth.
It would. I mean, I heard you guys talking about pilots and the planes, but the altitude of just a plane, I don't think would be enough to.
Well, that's certainly your opinion.
I operate as though the world is round, and I trust those who believe that the world is round when they're operating with my safety involved.
Yeah, you do have to trust someone in this case if you want to make a decision about this, in which case I will trust the thousands of individuals who have had personal experience with this, including some who are close into my life, and I don't think they're part of some crazy government conspiracy to cover up the so-called flat Earth. There's more coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's MyPillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Now, there is Reveal. Beverly Hills celebrity dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman took nearly a decade to develop Reveal from natural botanicals to return to a full-body head of hair. Reveal for men and women with a 30-day money-back guarantee at GCNlife.com or toll-free 844-443-6637. 844-443-6637. Reveal at GCNlife.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. They're actually talking about the flat earth in the chat room right now.
Staying out of the chat room then.
On Discord, so get on in there. Gene the Christian Anarchist says he knows lots of people in the South and doesn't know anyone who believes in a flat earth. Well, you know, maybe there are more flat earthers out there, but they just keep it to themselves, right? Like,
let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
You can have your own little flat earth cult over there.
Yeah. They have conventions, by the way, from what I understand.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the thing is with the flat earth people, you never really know if you're being trolled or if they really do believe what they say that they're saying, you know?
If it's a troll, it's a long game, right?
It is.
I could believe that a few years ago when they started coming out of the woodworks and actually pitching it. But I think that those early trolls have managed to legitimately convince a lot of people that they are correct. And the second wave of flat earthers are true believers.
It's scary stuff, but, you know, some people will believe anything. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts here. William is on the line in Virginia. He's listening in Norfolk to WNIS. Hey, William.
Hey, what a great show. I love it, man. Flat Earth. You got to be kidding me, you know? But all you have to do to prove that the Earth is not flat is to go to the beach, because I live in Virginia Beach.
They won't believe you.
See that the ocean water is actually way over your head if you look straight out. You can see the curvature of the Earth on the ocean. You can see it.
I'm sure they've got some cocky poppycock explanation for that too. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, well,
every rebuttal you can think of, they've got some weird conspiracy theory to support not believing it.
Well, I think that they are the conspiracy.
Could be.
Anyway.
Could be a conspiracy to waste our time.
Could be.
Yeah, something like that. I have something that makes sense about contracting and the legitimate, illegitimate contractors, etc.
Okay.
I've been doing this for 45 years, building and construction, industrial, etc. I started out, I was cheating. You know what I mean? I was an illegal contractor.
Oh, no.
Good for you.
Yeah. You know, it was the way it was. You know, you're a young kid. You don't know. You just, I'm pushing a lawnmower, you know. I didn't have a permit.
That's what our other caller got busted for.
And you know what? You were probably able to mow that lawn without a permit.
Amazing.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But the one thing that happened is that the contractors that did foul up, which I go behind quite a few actually annually, that don't know what they're doing, that are licensed and are supposed to be so. I would trust the unlicensed guy. He's asking more questions than the ones that are licensed and think they know it all. That's where we're at now.
That's important when you vet anyone to do work initially, right? During that interview process where you ask them about the scope of the work, what their skill set is, get referrals.
Right. Show me your work.
Yeah, exactly. Is more important than show me the piece of paper that the government gave you that says you can do this.
Yep.
Well, that's where it comes from. You know, there's the Department of Occupational Regulation here in Virginia, and they have ratings on what you do by the jobs you do. You know what I'm saying? If you do an industrial job and you've done them many times, et cetera, you're qualified.
Well, and that could exist without the government, right? So I just want to clarify that without the state, without the this bureaucracy, you could still have ratings that could be done in the market.
I agree with that, but I agree with you 100% about whether the state's required or not. What the state does in this case here is if a contractor that's licensed goes bad, okay, and leaves a job half done, that customer that believes this contractor, was all sincere, can get up to $20,000 reimbursement on that job to get it fixed.
From who?
From the contractors. We all pay into a fund. It's called the Contractor Recovery Fund.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go.
Well, then why couldn't somebody just make sure? Why couldn't we just have insurance policies, and you could make sure that your guy is insured?
Yeah, or bonded.
You do have insurance policies for that. They are there, and it's required in some cases that you have to have a bond or a surety, a bond, which means that you will complete the job, and that's bought out at the implement of the job at the point at the beginning. And that would happen is if the contractor died. Just an example, he did a great job, but he died in between. Before the surety insurance policy would cover the rest of the job to get it completed.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, what you're describing could totally exist without the central bureaucracy of the state.
I agree.
And should still be the customer's choice to go with the contractor that is
has
bonded,
that insurance.
that has the assurance bond.
That's true.
Right.
William, anything else you want to share tonight?
Well, yeah, but see, I'm a state in Virginia. Of course, we're going to what happens here. The Second Amendment thing. I'm not trying to bring that up, but that's how bad it's gotten. They're in my pocket. They're in my business. It's getting overwhelming.
Yeah.
At a point,
it's going to get worse.
So now they're affected. It's going to get worse now.
Sure
it's
is.
Going to get real bad. But I didn't know that you guys existed. But I want to give you a plug.
Hey, thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks, dude.
Think it's awesome.
Hey, do me a favor. If you like the show, go ahead and call WNIS during the week and tell them thanks for airing Free Talk Live and tell them you want to hear more of us because we're actually live 7 nights a week.
That would be great.
They only take our Sunday
awesome.
show.
It would be great.
So.
Yeah, I'd like to be part of that.
Thanks, William. I appreciate your time, man. Thanks for the call tonight.
Right.
And, of course, you can always listen live or anytime you want at freetalklive.com. We have downloadable archives that go back for years, more than a decade. Let's talk to Pat in Michigan. Listening. Pat, where are you? You in Alpena? Where are you calling from tonight?
Yeah. Well, outside of Alpena. I'm by the Thunder Bay there and top of the mitten.
Welcome. You're on Free Talk Live.
All right. Well, I've been listening to all these flat earthers. You guys kind of threw me off my game with that. And,
we apologize.
I would say to all those people who actually believe it, go to a bar near a naval base and talk to an old gunner and see if you don't have to throw the bullet over the hump.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, what does that mean?
The arch of the earth. You can only shoot as far as you can see. Other than that, you have to use trajectory.
Oh, okay.
Grids and such. Like they was talking about them lines on the map to find the Ukraine and such,
Pat, anything else you want to share tonight, man?
Well, I've been an off-the-grid carpenter. I'm almost 60. I'll be 60 here in April.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been an off-the-grid carpenter my whole damn life.
Awesome.
Don't be sharing that too loud on the radio. For somebody else who was thieving me, and paying me $10, $12 an hour.
Yep.
But, I tell you what, I have only learned from maybe 2 people I worked for in my whole life. Other than that, I've been smarter than all my bosses, which were licensed. Yep. And it's ridiculous.
Good for you, man, and that you've made it work your entire life, and you've worked for countless people, I imagine, in that time who've probably hired you back to do more work. Am I right about that?
Well, no. It's pretty skinny up here right now.
Really?
It's the middle of winter. It's feast and famine.
Over 60 years or whatever, however many years it's been. I got
a guy giving him some referrals.
Yeah.
No, well, I've had legal implications and speed bumps in the road of life, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
We've talked before about...
Right. Call your calls. Very good.
But anyway, I'm just saying that it can be overcome. Hell, I got 13 acres. I've been off the grid for 8 years. When things get real tough, I got meat in the backyard.
All right, brother. Hey, Pat, thanks for the call tonight. I definitely appreciate hearing from you.
I love you boys,
thanks,
man.
Brother.
Peace out.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, I have had unlicensed contracting work done the whole time I've been here in New Hampshire, and had one guy who, I kept hiring again and again and again because he did great work and did it affordably and knew everything.
Yeah, and most license requirements, they don't actually make sure you're doing the job properly or make sure you know how to do the job or make sure you're doing the job safely.
Nope.
They just take a bunch of money and have you do a bunch of obnoxious tasks sometimes that have nothing to do with your job or that are so ridiculously like, oh, did you know you're supposed to wash your hands type level.
The written exam.
Let me get Carl in here in Virginia listening to WNIS. Go ahead, Carl.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. Go ahead.
you guys have an awesome show.
Thanks.
First time caller.
Welcome.
So I wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way.
Unfortunately, you're short on time, so try to make it brief.
Okay, flat Earth is a philosophy. I have a few guys that work for me, and they believe in it. It's about questioning everything that you haven't seen with your own eyes or felt with your hands or whatever. It's about not trusting anything that you're told, but instead questioning everything until you have what you feel to be conclusive proof. So a lot of them don't necessarily believe the Earth is flat, but they do subscribe to the philosophy.
All right.
I see. Well, there's nothing wrong with questioning everything. I mean, that's something
Like
that
the Church
I can,
of the Flying Spaghetti
I can
Monster, then.
support.
Yeah, but
Carl,
once you get answers,
well, you still can't trust the answers, right? Unless you've seen it with your own eyes. I get where you're coming from, Carl. Call us another
Only
time,
if
man.
you-
We're out of time for tonight. I definitely appreciate hearing from you. I wish we had more time for it, but we don't.
That's the best explanation so far.
But I do want to say thanks also to Brad75552, who is a Free Talk Live Gold amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. Check out Richie at anarchistexperience.com for his podcast, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Have you ever wanted to work when you wanted to work instead of having to report to an office? Have you ever felt trapped by relationship rules like monogamy? I'm Caleb Jones, and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Watch our free, live, on-demand replay training with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com. Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,567, silver at $17.83, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,730. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, on Tuesday, a House committee approved a bill to put a 3-year ban or moratorium on the use of facial recognition for surveillance or any other purposes by the state and its political subdivisions. Passage into law would represent an important first step towards protecting privacy and rejecting the national surveillance state. Activist Post reports a coalition of 3 Democrats introduced House Bill 2856 January 27th. The legislation would put a 3-year ban on the use of facial recognition by government in Washington state. If passed into law, state and local government agencies would be prohibited from obtaining, retaining, requesting, accessing, or using any facial recognition technology or any information obtained from or by use of facial recognition technology. Additionally, any information obtained from or by the use of facial recognition would be barred from being used as evidence in any trial or other proceeding before a court or other authority subject to the jurisdiction of Washington. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. At the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, world leaders addressed various ways to combat climate change and help the environment. It was there the U.S. President Donald Trump committed to the Trillion Trees Initiative. The Mind Unleashed reports a bill is currently being drafted by Representative Bruce Westerman, a Republican from Arkansas, that would set in stone the commitment to the planting of billions of trees annually. If the legislation passes, the U.S. will plant 3.3 billion trees each year over the next 30 years. Over the last few years, tree planting initiatives have increased across the world. From Ireland pledging to plant 440 million trees over the next 20 years, to Ethiopia breaking the world record by planting 350 million trees in a mere 12 hours. Chemists working with the U.S. Army are developing new uniforms that can quickly break down toxic substances, protecting troops from bioweapons, according to a report from Wired. Omar Farah's lab at Northwestern University is testing a fabric that can neutralize nerve agents. The new fabric is part of a collaborative effort between the college and the Army, which might take upwards of a decade to test and then commission as the next-generation battle uniform. Activist Post reports the fabric can destroy nerve agents VX, Soman, and Sarin. The dangerous chemicals can be made in a biosafety level 4 laboratory, like the one found in Wuhan, China. Wired noted that the Army already has uniforms to protect troops from nerve agents, but there are no uniforms that can destroy the toxins. Jared DaCosta, a researcher with the Army who is not involved with the project, said the military has been searching for uniforms that can shield troops from bioweapons and at the same time destroy the chemicals. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The latest edition of The Anarchist Experience is next on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Get more at anarchistexperience.com.
And we're back with another episode of The Anarchist Experience, episode 253, aka Year 6, Week 3, coming at you this week. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Rich E. Rich, along with
MC.
And since we give out phone numbers for you to call in, 303-335-9527 or 303-835-1301. That's 303-335-9527 or 303-835-1301. So what is going on with you this week, MC?
So is the Trump impeachment thing over yet?
I believe so. No, well, no. I'm going to say no because, yes, it is. Like, he's been impeached. They voted to acquit. Some are calling it a historical vote, and now that should be the end of it. But guess who wants to go on the offense now? Just take a guess.
Trump.
Trump, right? So now he's like, you know what? Now that they've acquitted me, let's just go ahead and expunge the impeachment. Like he's trying to figure out a way to get that expunged from the House vote.
Oh,
so.
Well.
Ongoing the battle.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I'm not worried about that though.
It's unlikely to happen, but until they go, I'm sorry, sir, you can't do that. You're just going to have to be impeached. You're fired. Right?
And then they'll make a ray gun to wipe everybody's memory too, and then President Trump's presidency will be untarnished.
Yes. Well, if they do that, right, then like, well, he hasn't been impeached. Let's impeach him, and then they'll start the impeachment process again. They'll have to continually wipe people's memories.
Yeah.
There's some people. Apparently, he's got like a campaign ad out that has him like Trump 2032 up to like 2044 or something, and like someone on the left is like flipping out, like, see, he's gonna be your ruler forever. Until the day he dies, he's going to be like not even seeing like the own satire in that, right? Like Snopes could have called that one, but yeah, anything to get mad at him about, they'll find something.
Yeah, well, he's old anyway. I wouldn't be too worried about him being there till he dies.
Well, yeah, it could be sooner than later, right? You never know. But yeah, the impeachment for the most part over. Book closed, chapter done. All the battles, still going back and forth. Like the latest, right? It was like the State of the Union address. Did you catch that by any chance?
No.
Okay. Did you at least see the video of Speaker Pelosi tearing, just ripping at the printed out speech that Trump handed her?
I saw that drama. I didn't see the video, but yeah, I saw a picture.
Okay, funny word, right? I saw that drama as if it's a big deal, right? Like it's petty, number one,
right.
and then they're going like, that may have been illegal. That's an official document. You're not allowed to, Section 3, subsection 42B of some code or whatever.
My only comment on that was, well, it's politician on politician violence. Yeah, go for it.
Right.
I don't care.
And then on yesterday, Trump fired a handful of people who like testified against him, and they're like, no, that's illegal. You can't fire people because they test, so he cleaned house a little bit. End of the day on Friday, right? Everyone's gone home from work. None of the news outlets are picking up, but a handful of people stuck around. So I don't have a lot to say on that other than, yeah, that makes sense, right? He's petty and vindictive as well. What did you expect to happen if you decided like, to risk your job to testify against the president, knowing his proclivities and his catchphrase, right?
Right.
Like, was that going to go over well? Like, yes, we got him impeached. You knew he was going to get acquitted. You testified anyway. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah. So, in other news, I think who was it that paid for the app that they were supposed to use to vote with in the Iowa caucus?
Oh, are you suggesting that it was a Hillary Clinton backed organization? Because that's the word on the street.
Either Hillary Clinton or maybe a combination of people, but I heard Pete was also involved in that.
Oh, that's interesting.
So the conspiracy theory would be that, you know, Pete and gang or whatever are, you know, conspiring to change the votes.
Okay.
And so they pay for the voting software that is flawed. And what was really funny is that Pete declared victory before the votes were even sent in, and then he retracted it before the votes were sent in.
Interesting.
And then he ended up having the most votes in the end. So it seems kind of fishy. Like, oh, he knew ahead of time what the results were going to be. And
okay. So I didn't hear that part. So fill me in a little bit. I heard what I saw as far as when the news rolled out was like 62% of precincts or whatever they call them reporting in had him in the lead, right? And you go like, well, that might be indicative of the rest of the state. Then he declared victory, and then recanted, retracted that declaration because not all the votes were in, and all of a sudden there were problems. So, is my timeline off?
Well, your timeline is probably more accurate than mine because I really didn't give a shit. I really when I went to bed, it said 0%, and so I don't really know if it was 0% or if that was just the first thing that I saw. And at the same time, yeah, and at the same time that I saw the 0%, it also said, Pete had, said, we won.